disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lomito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
To another beatboxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. It's your good friend Mr. PDA, and I sure am glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we got a fantastic one for you. We got another edition of the BDA Boxing live film analysis. We're going to be looking at some of the clips from Haney's fights, Lomachenko fights, and how that all ties together in the main event that we're going to be getting this Saturday via ESPN pay-per-view. It's also got a very good undercard on that one, so very excited to see what happens there. But before we get down to the fun, fellas, let's get the business out of the way. You guys know the drill. If you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you're certainly welcome to donate a couple of shekels our way via the Super Chat feature. Although it's always better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. You can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, the whole shebang. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. That's the most important thing. If you can donate any money, any funds, well, every little bit helps. But also the most important thing is that you continue to like and subscribe and spread that BDA gospel. There's a lot of filthy people out there, filthy minds, filthy spirits, and we're here to remediate that. All right, so shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about Paracua, Ralph Unreal, Jason Green, JB, Fluffytosis89, Mueller's 27, Double L, Wilder Got Slept, Team Batman Boxing, salute Team Batman Boxing, Neil Simpson, Josa, HJ, Grand G. Many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. All right, let's get this party started. I see we got the Chief dropping by. Chief, are you there?
Sir, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on, man. It's been a while. I didn't know if you were gonna make it here. We got the Gons as well. Gonzalo, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going, Mr. BDA?
Doing fantastic. I hope you guys are doing fantastic as well. Let me just see if I can change the screen. Okay, I think I'm going to share the video directly to you guys, what I'm going to be watching, as opposed to the YouTube stream, because then I think the screen is going to be too small for you guys. So hopefully this works out. If it doesn't, well, we'll try to see how we work it out. Listen, if you guys in the chat want to give us your predictions while we're streaming here, doing the show, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to be able to take them down right now, though, because I'm going to be doing something else here at the same time. But from what I understand, the plan is that I think Butcher's going to do a show tomorrow, which is going to be the official prediction show. And I think he will be the one taking them down then. But I'm still curious to hear your predictions, because I'll make a mental note of it if I see your predictions in the chat. And of course, I'm always trying to read the chat to see whether you guys agree or disagree with what we're sharing on the screen. Now, whenever we do this type of film analysis, I don't really want to focus too much on the on the technique. Like, oh, this guy's not doing this correctly or that correct. I'm more curious to see how what we're seeing is gonna translate to in the night of the fight. Because sometimes, yes, indeed, styles make fights. Sometimes the speed plays a factor. Sometimes a guy's a little injured. Sometimes a guy is not as fast as he once was or as strong as he once was, and so on and so forth. So we're going to be looking out for that. People in the chat are saying, by the way, who is the referee? I think they just announced that today. I think it's going to be Harvey Duck. I believe I saw somebody posting that in the Discord. Now, for those of you that are unaware of who he is, it's this dude here. Hold on a second. Oh shit, this screen's very small, so I don't think you can see it. Let me expand that. Well, it's that dude over there, the guy that looks like a little bit like Dave Chappelle, except better genetics. See that dude? And somebody just posted a video on the Discord, I think it was Mueller's, where this guy, they asked him about clinching. I think it's an old video, and he's talking about how, well, you know, it's a fine line, blah, blah, blah. So he might be allowing some clinching. I'm not sure. Fellas, what do you remember about the... Oh, well, yeah, what do you guys remember about Harvey Duck? Apparently, he's the one that tried to prevent Caleb Plant from doing the shovel gesture there when he knocked out Durrell. So we'll see what happens. Listen, I have to rewatch some of his fights. I remember seeing him in fights. He's a you can't miss him. He's been around. But as to whether he likes to allow people to clinch or not, we will see. I know a lot of people were worried about who the referee was going to be. Well, there you have your answer. Old Harvey Duck. All right. What else are people saying in the chat here real quick? Joe says he likes him. Raphael32 says he's known sometimes for stopping fights early. Oh boy. Well, can be worse than Tony Weeks. They just can't get any worse. Shout out to Superstar Donick in there. Easy Living says, young Loma is a no-brainer, but I'm still going Loma. Some rando says, how dare he try to stop the shoveling? I mean, listen, it's a little bad. It's in bad taste, man. I understand why he did that. Team Batman Boxing says, great fight, though. Let's go. Yes, indeed. Let's go, man. Let's not spend too much time here prevaricating or equivocating, because that can also confuse people. Chief, though, I'm looking at the prediction page that I got here. I don't think I see you in the prediction. So you want to go ahead and give it today, or you want to wait till tomorrow, if you show up tomorrow, and give your prediction then? Chief, can you guys hear me, by the way? Hello?
Yeah, BDA, I can hear you.
Okay, I think Chief is busy. All right, well, listen, Chief, whenever you get the chance, if you want to do it tomorrow, give him tomorrow, the prediction. And one last note about the undercard. First of all, I'm quite surprised that it's not pay-per-view here in Canada, the fight. Usually they give you fights that aren't pay-per-view and they make them pay-per-view. This time it's the opposite. It's not on pay-per-view. I can watch it on my TSN app with that subscription, so that's very good news. But the undercard, just one last note on it, in case people don't know who's fighting on the undercard. I think you guys are going to be entertained. There's a lot of intriguing matchups in it. First of all, you got the one and only Nico Ali Walsh. I mean, come on, fellas. You got that's worth the pay-per-view price right there. You got Emiliano Vargas is going to be fighting Abdullah Mason, who Steve Kim and Jimmy have said nothing but good things about him. So I'm curious to see him fight there. The guy Desmond Leons he's fighting seems to be pretty durable. Then you got Junto Nakatani from Japan, who beat Don Francisco. What was the guy's name? Gonzalo, you remember the fight? Last guy he fought, right? He fought the Mexican who'd lost to Donny Nietes and
El Chihuas. Francisco Chihuas Rodriguez.
El Chihuas Rodriguez. Yeah, and that was a good fight. So he's taking on Andrew Maloney, who I believe is the brother of the last Maloney that we just saw this past Saturday. That's going to be a good one. Then you got, now this is the intriguing one, Murataya is taking on Jeremiah Nakatila, who's a dangerous puncher. I mean, just one right hand was enough to terrify Shakur Stevenson. So that's going to be an interesting one, man. I don't know how that one's going to go. But I'm very intrigued to see what happens there. What else do we got in the undercard? We've got Oscar Valdez and Adam Lopez, a rematch of a controversial fight they had about 4 years ago, I want to say. Lopez dropped Valdez, then Valdez dropped Lopez, and it was a very early stoppage. Speaking of early stoppages. And then, of course, you get the main event, Haney versus Lomachenko. It's a good card.
Isn't that the guy that beat Berchel also, PDA?
Yes, that's him as well. Yeah. So it's going to be a good
Both
one.
of them have got a win over Belichick, correct?
No. Murataya.
We know
not...
Valdez beat him.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Murataya versus Nakatila.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped to the wrong fight, and I'm sorry I stepped away for a second. I've got you loud and clear. I just had to take care of something.
Fantastic.
I'm the one that jumped in out of order with the Nakatila thing. But with Murataya, he's been dropped. And he's a good fighter, though. He got up and won his last fight. I think that was his last or second to last fight where he got dropped. But that's probably one of my favorite fights. And that card that you mentioned, or many fights in different
It's
cards.
an intriguing one, that's for sure. All right, let's get started then with the film analysis. Gonzalo, we're going to start off with the clips you showed me. Now, just a little note, some of the clips in there were too long. And if we play them more than 5 seconds, the algorithm detects it. So I had to chop them up, place them out of order, but they're still there, essentially. So can you guys see the screen I'm sharing here? What is it? What do you see?
Right now it says Gonzalo's clips.
There you go. Okay. Gonzalo, you see the same thing, or?
I'm having a little hard time with my phone trying to put it on mute and unmute it. But yeah, here I am, so
Okay,
I'm just going to leave it unmuted because I can't flip back and forth. That's the thing. Okay, I opened up the page.
What are you seeing in the screen that I'm sharing here?
Gonzalo's clips.
There you go. Okay, we got the Gonzalo's clips. These are the clips that Gonzalo chose. And so we're going to be able to talk about some of the things he saw as well in Haney's fights and Lomachenko's fights. I think I slowed some of them down, but I can always rewind and, slow them down. Well, let's watch these 3 clips in sequence. There you go. And then we'll just rewind. By the way, Chief, I can hear myself in your background, man. Very muffled. Sound like, it sounds like a military radio or something. All right, so Gonzalo, what was this clip? Do you remember why you showed this clip?
A lot of the clips on Lomachenko were basically the good things that he does because, he does a lot of things so well. And here, okay, from what I'm noticing, Teofimo's on the attack. And he's doing a pretty good job of blocking. Let me see. Then he goes on. So he transitions from defense to offense fairly quicker than anybody else in boxing. So that's a good thing. This is when he went on the attack after being passive for, 5 or 6 rounds.
One thing I'm seeing about, like you said, this clip here, this is when he was walking Teofimo Lopez down. This is the 8th round. And that's the problem with fighting with Lomachenko. He doesn't give you an easy shot or an easy target. Look at how he tucks his chin and he's a little bit out of position there, leaning back. You don't usually see him in that position. But since he's tucking his chin in and blocking it, the head didn't snap back. So it doesn't look all that exciting to the judges. That's not as clean a punch as it could be. And that's against a puncher, by the way. So if Haney's going to want to really hurt the guy or land some clean shots, he's going to really have to set them up properly so he can snap that head back and really excite the judges with that. Now, in this clip, Gonzalo, yes, you said that this is when he's on the attack, right? Transitioning there. Attacking at an interesting angle there. Very quick.
Yeah, that's right.
See. Look at that 4-punch combo right there.
So if you bring it to him, he's gonna do a good job, as you mentioned, BDA, to do a good job of, like you mentioned, tucking his chin in, taking what you got. But then after so it's his turn. So we can see Haney doing a good job of putting his punches together. But then there's gonna be a moment where it's gonna be his turn to throw back, and we're gonna see how Haney himself is able to transition from hitting and now being on the receiving end. Because, it's boxing, everybody gets their opportunity at some point. Usually, not all the time.
Well, the great counterpunchers will punch with you and still find a way to put themselves in a defensive position. Marquez was great at that. Floyd would only throw when it was his turn. He would not throw with you. Haney wants to be more like Floyd. So, not say that he is, but I think he wants to be Floyd-esque of hit and not get hit. Therefore, he can be caught in traps and caught in shells if you're too busy to where he wants to cover up. But he hasn't fought anybody yet like that can actually do that to him.
One thing I want to say about these clips here that you chose, Gonzalo, is, for example, this one here. Haney sort of fight. The reason why I kept bringing up the Lopez fight is because they both have that Philly shell defense, and they both like to dip down. But as you can see here, Lomachenko really, first of all, he's maintaining a good sense of distance, so he's not smothering his own work. And then he's just waiting for, see, he hits him with a 1-2. He makes him go downstairs, and then he just follows it up with a nice sledgehammer right hook. And then, like you said, he throws his shots, and then he blocks the shot and rolls with it. He kind of caught it on the top of the foot. No, not even. No, he deflected it with the elbow. So that's what's so difficult about fighting Lomachenko is he's quick. He hits you, and then before you know it, you think you get the free target, and instead he blocks it. I want to say something about this body shot. I want to see Lomachenko throw more of these. There, see that? See how he hit him with that liver shot, and Lopez immediately pinned that right. See that? Pinned that elbow right back down there. That hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. He's powerful with that because obviously that's the hand he writes with. It's his dominant hand. The left hand aligns with the liver on the right side of the body. His left as he's facing the opponent. So yeah, man, he definitely got power with the left hand, and that hook that you showed prior. He seems to get a lot of momentum with the lead hand as well as he turns it over. I seen Usyk throw that punch into some. And I seen Canelo also throw it as well. That's a cool punch. When he pinned you against the ropes and he got all the momentum going and he turns that shot like down right there.
That's how he hurt or actually dropped Krola. Stopped him with the right hook. I got the clip. We're going to watch that clip later on. I got it here somewhere. But you're right, Gonzalo. Yeah, that's a Golovkin-esque type shot. Here, this is when he was, like I said, putting pressure against Lopez. And this sequence, I had to chop it up because it's too long, but you can see he's sticking to Lopez like glue here. He feints, throws the left to the chest because he sort of knew Lopez was going to dip down into it. He didn't catch him clean with it, but then he caught him with that follow-up right, then tried to catch him with that combo. And again, see how he's got that shoulder. When he throws a shot, he's got that chin pinned to the shoulder, so the counter shot slides off of it, and he doesn't get hit clean. And then as soon as Lopez threw that shot, Lomachenko throws that beautiful jab, no telegraphing, and again, just sticks to the guy like glue. Now you see Lopez, he can't handle the operational tempo, and so he tries to hold, and then Lomachenko does this, which, again, if Haney grabs him, this we want to see this type of stuff here. Because if the ref's not going to do anything about it, you got to fucking punch your way out of it.
And that comes down to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gonzo.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, that's where I'm afraid if the referee's not too keen to pay attention who's the one initiating the clinch. Let me just say this, and I think that's why Haney is already making the excuses that Loma's a dirty fighter. Now, back to what I was saying. If Harvey Doc is not paying attention who initiates the clinch, I mean, it's going to be hard to detect when Loma starts doing that he can do it. He should do that because he's just basically trying to fight out of the clinch. Now, if the referee is not paying attention, he's just going to say, okay, you guys break. You shouldn't be doing that because Haney's the one that's going to be like always looking to do that. He shouldn't though.
So you think this is sort of like preemptive striking already? He's already making that. He's bringing that up to try to hide the fact that he's the one that's going to be dirty. Yeah, I believe you said that as well in the last show actually. Yeah, let me just go back to the comments here. See what we got.
You should be able to get a fair chance to fight out of the clinch. But if the referee's not paying attention to who's initiating, he's just going to break them up all the time. Basically saying, okay, you shouldn't be doing that because you're both doing it. But in reality, Haney's the one that's always going to be the one commencing the clinches. So Harvey Doc got to notice that and be fair when it comes to that.
I promise you this: if Haney's getting roughed up in the clinches, and Loma's doing like what he's doing what we're showing here, throwing punches, even if they're legit punches and not thrown to the back of the head, Haney's going to complain to the referee. I promise you he's going to complain to the referee. Why? Because he doesn't have an inside game. Why is another reason? Because who mentored him for a little while when Tank and Floyd were having their ins and outs and their love quarrels? Floyd was. Floyd didn't have an inside game. When Maidana was trying to work his way out of the clinches that Floyd was initiating, he was hitting him with body shots. He complained to the ref in both fights. I promise you, Haney is going to complain about being roughed up if he can't hold his own.
Yeah, I get the
whether
feeling
the ref will actually do anything about that and say, hey, stop complaining and fight like a champion, or whether he's going to punish Loma, or I'm not going to make a prediction of the rest of that. But I do know that if what Gonzo said was true about Haney's already starting to complain about Loma being a dirty fighter, then he's already setting the groundwork that he's trying to have something set up to where if he's getting roughed up and can't handle it, that he's going to ask for help.
I want to go back to Gonzalo's clips here because I let the video play. I know some people don't like it when we rewind too much, so I just let that video play, and then that way people get a chance to watch in real time, and then we go back and slow it down. This clip here is something that Lomachenko is going to have to do a lot of, and I want to show you, this is again the operational tempo that he sets. I don't know if he can keep doing it as often now at 35 years of age, but look, he comes in with the one, changes angles, hits him with the left, ducks the shots, blocks the rest of the shots, and then immediately comes back with a combo of his own. Fellas, this is just some high-level stuff right here. I don't know how... I understand now why, watching this though, you understand why he was stopping a bunch of featherweights back in the day, because they just couldn't fucking handle when he was doing this every 5 seconds.
Yeah, BD, and he seems to put his hips into the punches, so he got the momentum going forward, changing the angles, getting in the proper position as he turns the angle to swing them hips around and put a lot of like the shoulder into the punch. Mm-hmm. So even for a little dude, he generates a lot of power and leverage on his shots.
Yeah, those little T-Rex arms really help him out on the inside. The reason why he was so successful even with that short reach is because he was so quick and his timing was so good. Now he's starting to lose a little bit of that, but it's still, when he does it in flashes, it's still enough to win fights. Now here, Gonzalo, I forget why you chose this clip here against Nakatani.
I recall Nakatani was doing a lot of clinching. So going back to the whole clinching thing, Loma usually does. I know you mentioned he had a little bit of a harder time with Jermaine Ortiz, but here in this clip, as Nakatani's trying to wrap Lomachenko's head, Lomachenko tends to like get out of that by dipping his head down and switching the feet, turning the angle, and punching at the same time. So not only is he lowering his body to break the clinch, but he's also turning and getting in position just to drop that punch as quickly as he turns. So basically, he's setting up his offensive as well. He's already thinking about punching with the whole movement.
You know, Gonzalo and Chief, he's going to have to use all his tricks to get out of those clinches, if indeed Haney feels like he has to clinch a lot. Because people mention that Nakatani fight and they go, well, see, Lomachenko's fought bigger guys. Yes, Nakatani is taller than Haney, but you can see up top he's not as heavy as Haney. Haney's a strong guy from the upper body, and he uses that upper body strength to really clamp down on his opponent. So it's not quite that when people say, well, Lomachenko's fought bigger guys before, I think Haney is one of the strongest he's fought in a good long time. So we will see
he's
how
definitely
that would happen.
one of the more muscular ones. You are correct. Strength, I can't tell yet. I don't know how strong Haney is in being able to hold, not just hold. I mean, I don't mean hold at all. I mean the way they're able to use their physical strength to hold their own body to body against somebody. And Jojo Diaz was able to push him off and push him around a little bit, even though Haney was comfortably ahead. When Jojo got close, Haney wasn't comfortable. So you can be a bigger guy all you want to. It's like we say about Joshua. There's nobody bigger and stronger in the upper body in the heavyweight division than Joshua, but he doesn't know how to use it that way. all we do know about Haney is he knows how to clinch to try and end momentum in any kind of fighting until the ref breaks and they can get readjusted. Is Haney going to be able to use that to try and push Loma off balance, push him backwards, and things of that nature? And unfortunately, that's what I think is going to try and happen. He'll probably put his head in Loma's face, put the meat hooks on, walk him backwards, kind of like what Junior Jones did to Orlando Canizales back in the 90s, and that's the way I see this fight going. But at the same time, if Loma's able to put these kind of things together again, like he did 3 years ago, and I emphasize 3 years ago, then he's got a really good shot at pulling off what some people may consider an upset.
Yeah, you're right. If he can dial that back, and I think he's not as passive as some people are making out to be. G Funky, shout out to G Funky in the chat, says according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the weigh-in will be at 9 a.m. on Friday morning. That's a 36-hour weigh-in. I mean, usually they hold it at 4 p.m. Eastern time here. So if over there, West Coast, it's 2 hours behind, 3 hours behind, I think. So the fact that they're, fuck, usually they hold it a little later. So you can see now they're starting to play with the weigh-ins whenever they want. Like, for example, with Davis Garcia, they really held it later to try to make Garcia struggle as much as possible. So, I mean, it's gamesmanship, as they like to call it. I don't think Loma cares, though. He's not the type of guy that's too worried about the size of the ring, the gloves, the location. So we'll see what happens here. All right, let's keep watching this. Or the size of the opponent, yeah. So let's keep watching these clips here. So this is Loma getting out of the clinches against Nakatani. There you go. See, like Gonzalo said, he dips down. Well, there he didn't dip down. There he just whacked him.
And that is something he has in his favor. He knows, like some people, once they get tied up, they don't know. They lose situational awareness. They don't know where their opponent's head is. They don't know where the free hand is. They don't have the angle. Loma, like Chavez, like Whitaker, and what I mean by that is they have the situational awareness where their eyes are open on the inside, real concentration. They know where all the open targets are on their opponents. Different fighting styles, but the mentality is the same. They know what to do. They know where the angles are. They know how to swing to still hit their opponent in their primes in those situations. That's something that Haney's not going to be ready for, is Loma hitting him. And I like I say, I think he's going to like try and retaliate dirty, because he's going to feel like, well, I didn't see the punch coming, so it was a dirty shot.
I mean, first of all, one thing I'm seeing here is that when Nakatani is awful at clinching, like this clinch, maybe it's because he was desperate. By this time in the 7th round, he'd been taking a beating. That's an awful clinch right there. He's just grabbing him behind the head. He's got no weight to put down on Lomachenko, so Lomachenko is just free to whack him with those hooks there. Haney's a much better clincher. Now, Gonzalo, this clip here again, now you shows clips from the Comey fight. Comey, if I had to guess, has the physical dimensions of a Devin Haney. Strong upper body, obviously not as fast as Haney, doesn't have that jab, but he does hit harder. What are we watching here, Gonzalo?
I think more of the same. Comey trying to clinch in the beginning initially. Not sure. Let me see. Well, I am watching. So let me see. Basically, Loma going on the attack. Just Loma going on the attack, I guess.
Yeah, somebody in the chat says that Comey is not using his jab at all. Yeah, that's a difference between, like I said, that's the difference between him and Haney. Although, the way that, we're going to get to that later on, by the way, but the way to take away that jab is really going to be a good guard from the southpaw stance. Now here, Comey, and this is something that I want to touch on later on, Gonzalo. Haney's going to have to do a little bit of this. Go wild. Let your hands go against the smaller guy. And let the judges know that you are indeed working. Because I don't know if that precise surgical style is going to work on Loma hard enough to get that decision there. So who's gonna have to go a little bit?
Oh yeah,
attack?
them left hooks are vicious. BDA Chief Lomachenko throwing.
Mr. Poe says, "Put me down, BDA, for Loma on points decision, officially or unofficially." All right, I'll write that one down. Shout out to Mr. Poe. Michael Poe for his contribution via the super chat. He says Loma by decision. Like I said, give me your predictions, guys, but I'm not gonna write all of them down because I'm doing the film analysis at the same time. Bucho's probably gonna do a show tomorrow, so he's gonna be taking them down for sure if he does a show tomorrow. Worst case scenario, I do believe there's a Friday show, and that one's gonna be insane. Although that one's not. I mean, that one's more insanity than actual boxing. So, but you can still get your predictions there. I think that's the last day we're gonna be taking down predictions. So sorry, Gonzalo. Yeah, you were saying that this is the. I mean, even
Lomachenko investing to the body with the left hook.
Yeah.
Straight punches to the bread basket with the same hand, and he follows it up with the left hook.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention those clips. I got some of these clips later on as well. But this is something that he's gonna have to do. Body. He tends to abandon the body sometimes. He likes to go be precise and surgical upstairs. Fuck that. You're fighting the smaller guy, and then, geez, Louise, look at that shot. That's the benefit of.
I get the sense. I get the sense, PDA, that with Comey, he was dominating him, but he just gave him too much of a chance. Basically, he was boxing a little too much.
Yeah.
Instead of changing, instead of changing the ankle many times over, just stick to him. Once you change the angle and landed one shot, he should have kept going at him and just blasted him out of there, because he gave him a lot of chance to survive, because Comey showed some resiliency. Right, because he got hit. He took a beating in that fight.
Yeah, he did, and I mean, he could have really let him go. He could have taken him out, but he decided. See, that was a little bit of that Lomachenko arrogance that he decided to gesture and play to the corner and say, "Hey, stop the fight! I'm really gonna hurt this guy." It's like, listen, if you're gonna hurt him, man. Otherwise, you get what happened, which was he let him go, and then he couldn't put him back down again, and it went the distance and it hurt his knockout ratio. Shout out to Toon, by the way. Shout out to Toon for his contribution with the super chat. And he says, Loma will beat Haney. I ain't even Loma fan. Okay, so there you go. That's a guy that's not a Lomachenko fan, so he cannot be accused of being biased. So he says Loma unanimous decision. Yeah, the only times I'm going to be taking down the predictions today is if people do donate with the super chat. Otherwise, like I said, Butch is going to be taking them down tomorrow. So you guys will have your chance to name them all there, and on Friday as well. So shout out to Toon for his contribution to the super chat. We got the Uncle Pete here, the Pete Meister. Pete Meister, are you there?
What's up, boys? Everybody hear me?
What's up, man? I can hear you.
Hey, how's it going, Pete?
All right. Sorry, I've been gone for a little while, guys. My bad.
I was a little worried, man, because I read in the newspaper about 2 weeks ago that somebody was moving keys from Cuba to Miami or something. I said, oh boy, I hope that wasn't Pete on his boat. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've just been in a dark place with boxing, man.
Really?
Yeah, just ugly, dark place. But then I was at lunch today, and I was putting a pork chop on a plate, and then I saw your graphic for the show today, and I looked, and especially the Lomachenko portion of the graphic, and I said, "There's a ray of sunshine down there in all that darkness. Come on up here."
What the fuck are you on about?
Big Al from Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh, okay, I got you. The pork chop. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, boxing's just too dark lately. You know what I'm saying? Just too dark.
Oh well, listen. After what happened last Saturday, I mean, people are pretty disillusioned. Hopefully, this week really gives us a nice show. And people, because again, boxing, it just takes too much out of us boxing fans. Rarely does it give back. Although this year, again, I don't want to be a pessimist. It's been quite good. All right, let's keep going with this film analysis here.
Okay.
This clip I really like, though, Gonzalo. I'm glad you picked this one. If I may just comment in the slow motion part here, this, again, just shows you the operational tempo that's set when fighting Lomachenko. And this is something that I don't think Haney really does all that well. Hold on a second. Let me slow down. So Jermaine Ortiz is fighting leaning forward like Haney. He shoots an up jab, which Lomachenko dodges and tries to counter. So he slips counters, but then at the same time, Ortiz slips that counter, and then he tries to get him with a body shot, a combo. Those shots are blocked by Lomachenko, but they keep him occupied. Notice that. Then an up jab and an uppercut that misses, but he's forcing Lomachenko. I mean, Lomachenko's making him miss, and he's not allowing him to land anything, but it prevented Lomachenko from just having his way on the inside, and it made him think, oh boy, this guy can counter off my counters. So this is something that Haney's going to have to try to do, but also watch out, because this is the game that Lomachenko plays. He makes you, he draws a punch out of you, and he tries to counter off the counter. Gonzalo, what do you think about that? You chose the clip here.
Hey, that's high-level boxing, BDA. That's high-level boxing. That's a high-level breakdown, too. It's true there's a lot of moving parts in that little sequence right there from both fighters.
Yeah, when you chose that clip, I said, God damn, Gonzalo really picked a good one here. What does anyone else think about this clip here? Can Haney keep up with this type of exchange? Can he set up these type of exchanges?
Not totally, because this isn't really his game. Someone in the chat, Chowdhury, I think is how he pronounced his name, says Ortiz is better than Haney. I don't fully agree with all of that, but Ortiz does things that Haney doesn't do, man, possibly can't do. Haney's not a big body puncher. Haney doesn't really throw a lot of uppercuts. He doesn't like to stay inside. He doesn't like to leave himself exposed. Ortiz does not mind to get inside and mix it up with you. And that's one of the differences. Even though this guy is about as tall, about as long as limbed, and fights in a similar stance with the jab, fights at distance with a long jab and a right hand, like Haney, he doesn't have the same mentality. It's not an all range and then clinch one to get inside. This guy does want to fight. And yes, I just saw a clip right there. I think Haney may have an uppercut at times, but he's more about holding than he is about fighting inside. Ortiz will really try and take it to you more, and there's the difference there.
Anyone else? Because we got a lot of clips to get to, by the way. We got 15 minutes worth of clips, but you got to expound that to about, because we're going to be rewinding them, so it's probably going to take us about 2.5 hours. You know, because
I want to say hey to Pete real quick. Good to hear from you again, buddy.
Absolutely.
Chief, what's up, buddy?
Chief, you made an excellent point, man. You said Ortiz isn't as good as Haney, but he does do some things better than Haney. And I tried to articulate this in a previous video that I did that is still up there. I did two preview videos for the Haney-Lomachenko fight. And that's the thing. Ortiz has better footwork than Haney, believe it or not. He's much more fleet-footed
Big time.
And agile. I suppose the word to use here is dynamic, but he lacks Haney's jab, and he lacks that. Haney's more precise with his shots. So sometimes you don't have to move as much if you are the more accurate fighter. So, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But yeah, just one last look at this clip here, and then Loma tries to counter with the jab, which sort of landed. Now here, Gonzalo, you chose this clip here as well. This is Lomachenko's bread and butter, by the way. Just that Pacquiao-esque 2-1. And he closes the distance pretty quickly here. As you can see.
That's right. This is the 2-1.
And then fucking Jermaine Ortiz's footwork. See, now he hurt him there because what he was trying to do is he was trying to extend the lead foot. He's trying to put it back there so he can pivot off it. The problem is he got hit at the same time. This is why you don't cross your feet that much. And he got stuck there, as you can see, and then he caused him to stumble. That left to the body is what you were talking about, Gonzalo.
Yeah, with that 2-1, it's dangerous. Well, you end up with your lead hand, so basically you end up in position to whatever's coming after that, you're ready to punch once again.
Right.
The momentum, power hand to lead. Then you end up with your jab hand, and basically you're in position to whatever the action takes you. Okay, I'm ready to go with you again. So he's in control.
It's a dangerous punch, like you said. It's a dangerous combination, and you better be quick to pull that one off. And as you can see here, Loma still has plenty of speed against a agile boxer. Now here, that left hand, he set it up pretty well.
You see?
Yeah.
You see how he finishes up the combination, BDA, at the very end, at the trail end of the clip?
You're talking about the 2-1.
So the 2-1.
Right.
So basically, power hand. Bam.
Yeah. Just one last note.
In the lead hand. And right there, he's in control because he's already in his boxing stance as the dude's going backward. So he's got all the time in the world. When the action is that fast and you got the upper hand on your opponent because he's out of balance and you're in balance, essentially ready to punch again. Right? He's ready to punch right there once again, wherever the action goes. He decides to take it.
Yeah, and his feet are spaced out. Hold on, where was that clip? In other words, when you throw that, I'm actually rewinding there. When you throw that 2-1, it's pretty easy for things to go wrong. Hold on a second. It's pretty easy for things to go wrong, and keeping your feet getting too close together. But as you can see there, he's actually as soon as he's stepping forward, he's trying to space those feet apart so that he's in equilibrium. You're right. And then this left hand to the body here. As you can see
comes
here,
from his dad having him in dancing, but he knows how to space his feet. He's light on his toes. He's not as light on his feet as he was at featherweight and junior lightweight. But that move right there, his feet got close together, so it's almost like a two-step. He puts weight on one, bounced off to the other. The other thing I was going to say about this is that 2-1, it's technically like the backhand followed by a jab, but it's a power jab. It's not really he throws it with the force of a hook, but he throws it straight. So it's like what Bobby Chase used to call a shotgun jab.
Almost across.
Yeah. And it's a punch
Lomachenko got the best footwork in the game, dude. And his feet he's shifting right there in that clip. He's shifting towards the end of that combination. His feet are never really getting close together. He's squaring up, which might not be a great thing. But his fucking footwork is head and shoulders above Haney's. I'll tell you that right now. That's gonna kill Haney, his footwork.
If he's able if the reflexes are there and he's able to stay on top of it, it's going to give Haney a lot of fits, which is going to cause Haney to want to clinch more. I'm telling you guys, I love Loma. You know, I'm one of his biggest fans. He's one of my favorite fighters. It pains me to pick against him, but I just think Haney's going to try to shut everything down with intentional clinching. Like I said, it's going to look like Junior Jones versus Orlando Canizales. That's what I'm seeing, despite all these clips. If Loma's to be 10% better than the fighter we see in these clips against Ortiz, I give him a really good shot. But I just, because of his age, because of the time off, because of the 400 amateur fights, and because Haney's quote-unquote this new king coming up, I don't see a lot of stars lining up for Loma to win this fight, and I would love to be proved wrong. Don't get me wrong. I will be happy to eat my words if I'm wrong come Sunday.
What else we got here? Okay, we got that 1-2-1. We got the body shot. We're going to revisit that one later on, by the way. Here, Gonzalo also, he chose this clip here of what he has to do on the inside. Get himself a lot of weight there. They're just whacking him with a fucking right hook there. Sent the sweat flying.
That's right. He got the little T-Rex arms, as they say. No, he's got the ability, which is a good thing on the inside against a longer limb dude, because I mean, you could fight in between whatever he does. You got the shorter arms. You can thread the needle quicker.
I already see complaining. I already see we got people complaining that we're giving Loma too much credit. We're gonna get to Haney. Don't worry about it. And then I want to see if you guys say the same thing about Haney, that we're giving him too much credit. But go ahead, Gonzalo. Yes.
I just noticing the way he shortens up those hooks. Very impressive. So if Haney tries to clinch, or if he tries to exchange with Loma on the inside, Loma's going to be successful, I think. In some instances, Chief, I believe. Not all the time, because he's going to clinch. He's going to try to clinch. But if he's able to land one of them little short shots, like a whack-a-mole, he's not giving the whack-a-mole, bam, bam, that they have in the fair. Yeah, if he's able to whack him with the little short hook on the inside, hey, that could be a game changer if he buzzes them. Because once you buzz your opponent, I mean, you're pretty much in control of landing the follow-up punch.
Yeah, we're going to revisit. I just started to realize a lot of these clips, we're going to rewatch them later on. But yeah, this clip here of Haney with the uppercut. Now, interestingly enough, he dips down. He likes to change levels too, which is he's going to have to do it against Lomachenko. And now that he's got all his weight down here, all he has to do is bring that up. You notice that his elbow is pinned to the side, so it's not flaring, meaning he's not losing power on it, and then just boom.
That's one of Haney's punches that I noticed. He lands with more frequency, like accurate. I don't know how often he throws it, but when he throws it, oftentimes he lands it. And that's a sneaky punch because not too many fighters, this is just my opinion, of course. I might be wrong, I don't know, but not too many people can throw a lead hook with power. And I mean, he's not known for having a lot of power, but the way he throws it, he's got a little power on it, especially for a lead hand, because you're not turning it over. You're not turning it over from afar. How do you get the leverage on it? And he bends the knees, and he's able to crank it up and land it with a little bit of pop. But most importantly, it lands. So if you snap your head back, I mean, the judges are going to take notice of that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the main thing, though. He's got flashy hands, and if they snap a guy's head back, okay, maybe he's not knocking them out, but he's scoring shots. That's really, at the end of the day, yes, you want to hurt your opponent, but sometimes you hurt them by slapping their head back and them saying, shit, I don't want to take any of that again. So we will see here. Yeah, that left uppercut, by the way, he also showed it against, what's his name? Kambosos, I think in both fights, and against Jojo Diaz in some instances, although it's not a punch that you really want to. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong.
It's a sneaky punch, right?
Yeah.
Uppercut, sometimes hard to watch because it's coming from underneath, especially the lead one, because you're thinking, oh, well, I mean, if it's the trail hand, at least you're seeing the shoulder move a little bit where you have to try not to telegraph it. But the lead one, it surprises you.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Damn, like the Jack in the Box, the Jack in the Box, clean, 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 clean. Boom, it all soon comes out of nowhere.
Hey, now you're going to get Shadow Band to call in because you mentioned Jack in the Box. But one thing you chose a lot of these clips here is that he's got quick hands, but that left hook, he's sort of slapping with it. I've noticed, though, that in that Blood, Sweat, and Tears, when he's hitting the mitts, he's trying to arc it more. He's lifting the elbow up more because, as you can see here, well, this is an awful left hook. I'm trying to catch a good glimpse here of when he throws that. Anyway, but yeah.
BD, that punch, man, that is to throw hooks. Hooks are thrown with faster hand speed, but take 34% longer to land it compared to straight punches. And sometimes that lead hook, obviously it travels. It's got a little bit more extension than the trail hand, so it's a little bit harder to control. And since he tries to land it, he tries to turn it over, and no knock on him because he tries to turn it over to land it correctly. And since he really can't punch, he tries to put a lot of emphasis when he lands it. Like he tries to he tries to sit down on it. And when you can't really hit that hard, man, he's perfect for an opponent to basically catch that arm and get countered. So if he really tries to dig down with it, he's going to get countered. And I've seen some clips where he's gotten countered when he throws that hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to have to watch out. He's really going to have to try to get Loma's respect with that left hook. Otherwise, Loma's going to want to trade with him. Again, here you see him fast hands, but not necessarily throwing a lot of... Now, somebody said that he's not throwing a lot of body shots. He does throw body shots. I think I got some clips here of him throwing body shots. And that was against Diaz, who was just squaring up. Not squaring up, but just receding into that turtle shell. So there were openings for body shots. Now here, though, see, that's the thing, though. He's not going to want to let Loma get too close because he throws a right hand there, and Diaz was willing to take that and then landed that arcing left hand. He's lucky that Jojo is not a big puncher because that could have ended could have been deadly right there.
That punch landed all night in that fight, by the way.
Yeah.
And to the body. left to the body, and then left upstairs because he can't figure out how to keep his Philly shell or wherever that fucking defense is. He can't keep his glove high enough to protect his chin, and he can't keep his elbow low enough to protect the body shot.
I mean, on the one hand, Gonzalo and I were talking about this, that Diaz sort of hypnotized him a little bit by just walking forward with the guard. Loma's not going to do that, so in a way, it's going to be easier for Haney to not get hypnotized, but he is going to have to deal with the move in and out, the feinting. I don't know if that's going to be easier for him or harder than what Jojo was doing, but nevertheless, Jojo Diaz was able to get up close here. And here is something that I want to talk about later on as well. Doubling up with the jab and then coming in with the left. And again, see, Haney, he really, and I want to touch on this later on, I'm going to have more examples of this. He just backs up straight in a line, hands down, and and then he caught that left. He was lucky that there wasn't really that much behind the punch right there. And then Gonzalo, you say
you think he was hypnotized by Jojo coming straight forward in a straight line?
Yeah, because
I saw right here. Look at the foot BDA. He's trying to establish distance with the foot, but I mean Jojo Diaz still barged through. You could see he's thinking about the feet instead of the head, and that's why he gets caught upstairs.
Okay, yeah.
You see right there, he's trying to push him. He's trying to keep the distance with the lead foot, so Jojo won't like really collapse the pocket, but he was still able to barge in. And I mean, credit to Haney, he kept his arm up. Still, he got caught. She actually right there, Jojo actually hit him on the glove, but was still able to penetrate the guard.
Now, these shots, back to the second or the third round of this fight. The first thing that Jojo Diaz has success with is stepping outside of his foot. So getting foot control in a straight line. I don't know about hypnotizing. Pretty fucking basic. Stepped outside of his left foot and then threw a left hand to the front of his body, so like a soloplex shot. And then that's what got Haney getting caught upstairs and downstairs. You don't like it.
I get what you're saying, yeah, because what I mean by hypnotizing, though, is that, again, it was basic, but all night he was just doing this, what we're seeing here, just blocking shots. So that's what I mean by hypnotize, because it made Haney become comfortable. I'm not justifying it, I'm explaining it. He sort of said, gotcha. This guy's just going to walk in with his hands up, so I don't really have to, there's no feints, there's no nothing, so that's why he wasn't jittery. But that's partially why Jojo Diaz was able to have so much success here, because Haney didn't know when the punch was coming. He didn't know when he was going to keep blocking or when he was going to do this. Explode on the inside and break the distance, or cut the distance, rather. And then you got these clips here real quick that Gonzalo showed, where Haney's trying to throw the Golovkin, what do you call that type of shot there? Anchor shot or corkscrew, yeah?
Yeah, I think Pete's right. It's like a bowler punch to the top of the dome. See, Golovkin had success with that punch because when you hit this hard as Golovkin, I mean, all that energy got to escape somewhere, so it's traveling down your body, like, to the sole of your feet. So obviously, it's rattling dudes. But when you're Haney, not really known for punching, and you hit somebody and that top of that part of the head, the cranium, man, good luck really like trying to hurt your opponent. And you could also like really like hurt your hand too. So you could I included that clip just to show how even though Haney tries to put like power behind his shots, he's not accomplishing that, especially with that punch.
None of these shots even so much as bother or interrupt Linares or Jojo. You ever notice that?
Excuse me, what happened? Sorry, I had to dip out for 5 seconds.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not really like a big Devin Haney fan, like personally.
Is that right?
I just don't like I don't like him. But none of these shots are even so much as like interrupting Linares or Jojo Diaz. If you notice that, these big power shots, like if the ones he digs in with and the hooks and the lead uppercuts from before, they're not so much as even fucking like for half a second making these guys stop coming forward. If you notice, usually a guy will like start going backwards, maybe take a break.
I mean, no,
yeah,
I mean,
that's right. And that left hook, which he often throws and gets caught in your opponent's, like he tries to wrap it around, but it's not landing cleanly. It gets stuck like a little bit like in mud. For lack of a better way to explain it, he hits it, he cuffs you with it, and basically your arm is getting caught. And when you're trying to land it on your opponent, so it's kind of like stuck a little bit like in mud, and that's when he gets countered, in my opinion. When he's gonna throw that shot, especially against a southpaw, and let's say he throws that hook and it gets partially blocked, that's when Lomachenko's gonna throw in his own left hook, and he's got the shorter arms. It's gonna be able to catch Haney as he throws that punch.
Yeah, that left hook is I mean, Haney's power, people keep harping on the power, and it's true. Look, he doesn't hit as hard as Teofimo Lopez, but he really doesn't hit as hard. I mean, look, he couldn't stop Gamboa, he couldn't stop Linares. Those are two guys that have been stopped before by other guys. So it does make a statement about Haney's lack of power. That being said, in boxing, all you got to do is get the guy's respect. Sometimes that's all you need. Get that guy's respect and land more often, and boom, you got the win. Now, here is something that I want to bring up, the left hook. Now we're getting into, by the way, for the Haney fans out there that want to talk about him, here are the Haney's keys to victory that we've been able to outline. Hold on a second. The left hook. A lot of people talk about the right hand against the southpaw. Well, you want to take away his left hand, you throw the right, or that's the most common punch, the most effective. I disagree. I think a good left hook can actually be beneficial in this scenario. And let me show you why, if this thing will play. Against Jojo Diaz there. Again, the left hook isn't perfect. Slapping a little bit with it. But see how, I mean, he made Jojo cover up there, and it's a clean punch that lands. Here, he finally set down a little bit of it. Now, of course, again, there's technical problems with the left hook. See how he's not lifting up the elbow. But it landed with enough velocity and snaps to really get to the target, and that's a clean punch. Now here he's doubling up on the left hook, and then he triples up on it, and you see that he's able to get it through in an exchange. Why not? Triple up on the left hook, because as you're going to see later on, Lomachenko, he likes to jump in with that 1-2-1, and there's an opening right there for the left hook. Now here he was finally able to, see that? He caused Jojo to stumble a little bit. He went to the body and boom, opened up. For a split second, was able to get Jojo to drop that hand there, and he got that left hook in there, and it shook Jojo Diaz. Now, Diaz kept coming forward because I don't think he had much of a choice, but still. And now you can see here, Lomachenko getting caught with a couple of left hooks against Jermaine Ortiz. And again, that's because he likes to lean in with that 1-2 or 1-2-1, and he's a shorter guy. Again, there you see that he got caught with the left. And here, he likes to go downstairs with the left, but he's going to have to time that properly, or at least, what's the word I'm looking for here? Set it up with feints, because if a guy reads it, he's going to get caught with that left hook. Now, Haney's going to have to be relaxed and on point to be able to land these type of shots. Because if he gets hypnotized by Lomachenko's feints and all the work that he does, he's not going to be relaxed enough to be able to time this. So what do you guys think about the left hook so far for Haney?
Yeah, BDA, he did land those hooks correctly. He does land with those sometimes. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to read the chat here. Hold on. Let me see if we got any outstanding messages that needed to be read. There's no... Oh, yeah, no, yeah. There is a super chat. Okay, I think a super chat just came in. Hold on a second. Shout out to... I got two things open at the same time here. Shout out to... Who was this? Oh, Toon. Donated with the super chat again. And he says... If Loma... Hold on a second. If Loma beat Haney, you think they run to the weight as an excuse? They've really outlined the Ramadan thing. If Haney rehydrates to 160 like they say, and Loma being a small 35, Does he lose any hope at 140? That's an interesting question there, Toon. If Haney loses this one against a relatively small lightweight, will that ail him or ail his prospects when it comes to 140? It certainly will. People are going to be ruthless about it. But like G Funky said, they are actually holding the weigh-in earlier than usual. So I think they're going to give him more time than usual to rehydrate. And on top of that, this ain't the Tank Davis-Garcia fight where there was a rehydration clause. If there is, we haven't heard about it, so we're going to have to assume that there isn't. So it's not quite the same thing here. And but I do think some people are going to, depending on how Haney looks, if he loses, I think some people are going to use they're going to go to the weight thing. I think so. But we'll see. Well, listen, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. What else? Okay, so let's keep going there. Shout out to everybody. Don't forget to hit the like. Subscribe if you've yet to subscribe, all right? So yeah, that left hook is like I was saying. That's a good punch to shut down a smaller guy who has to jump in to get there. Because I think Lomachenko is very used to fighting guys who are trying to just line him up with the right hand. Here you can see Linares threw a combo and finished it with left hook that caught him. Here, counter left hook. Again, as Loma was just throwing a bit of a tap there, so he was able to time him. These are the type of shots that are going to be able to perhaps dissuade Lomachenko if they land hard enough. But then that's the problem. See what Linares is doing here. Haney doesn't really do. Well, what happened? What?
Yeah, if they land hard enough. But what the fuck is Haney? Man, I just don't think Haney's got the half the power of like an Ortiz. And you're looking at the fourth round of these fights. And what is this here? This is the fifth round of the Linares fight. And the Teofimo fight is whatever round. I can't see. It's round.
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Yeah.
That's the first round. So I'm just saying, like, let's go ahead. But I agree with you about the footwork of Ortiz compared to Haney. I don't know. Everybody's talking about this superstar footwork of Haney's. His feet are way too wide. And Ortiz's are about to shoulder width apart, which they should be. And therefore he's got more hips. Your hips don't bind up when your feet are shoulder width apart. But when you keep them so fucking wide, like Haney does, he just doesn't generate any power on his shots. So yeah, maybe I'll catch him with the hook, but Ortiz is having success with it because he's got a hell of a lot of experience with Lomachenko. So he's seen this attack a million times. Haney's never seen it.
Well, we shall see, man. I mean, you are right about the feet. Ortiz has better footwork in terms of placing the feet, placement of the feet, and much more dynamic. We'll see what happens there, man. But you are right, though. Haney can't really crack as much as some of the other lightweights in there that Lomachenko has fought. So it's going to be skills that win the game and not power necessarily in this one. But again, that left hook, whether he hits hard or not, if he's got quick hands and he's got accurate hands, and as you can see, Teofimo Lopez too had a little success with that left hook or landing it. He threw it a lot, but he didn't always land it. But he landed it in these instances here, as you can see. So that's always a good weapon to have against Lomachenko, who, there's just not enough weapons to dissuade this guy. So you got to throw everything at him. Now, another thing that I want to say about Haney is he has to counter to the body. This is something that I was talking about before the Lopez fight, before the Loma-Lopez fight, and indeed, Lopez did do that. When he jumps in with that 1-2, like right there, counter him to the body, whether it's with the left or with the right uppercut. When the guy's throwing his shot, his air is leaving at the body, and sometimes you can catch him and hurt him because he's not expecting that shot. See, Ortiz tried it as well. Now, this sequence here, it's not, I don't know if Haney's going to be able to do this. Number one, because in this sequence, Ortiz was a southpaw, which obviously Haney isn't. But look at how he dipped down, put all his weight into that shot, and you could tell that Loma had to step back out there because he felt that shot. So how do you dissuade the guy who's jumping in from doing so? You counter to the body. It's a beautiful. But see, again, like Pete was saying, I just want to look at Ortiz's feet. Very good balance. And then the way he shifts that balance into the shot, Haney's going to have to mind his P's and Q's when it comes to that technique.
And also the experience of dealing with Lomachenko. I mean, that can't be denied. I mean, this guy's very closed off camp-wise. He's in other words, Ortiz has got rounds and rounds and rounds of dealing with Lomachenko's attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maneuvers like this. Number one, you got to have the experience with Lomachenko with his style to do it. Number two, you got to have the chin. You got to have the chin to be able to throw a body shot, meaning you're very vulnerable upstairs when you're throwing this shot, right? So it's a problem with throwing body shots is that you're vulnerable to a counter shot, right? So if you got the chin for it and the strength for it, like Ortiz does, I'm pretty high on this Ortiz kid. He's pretty good. If you got the aggressive nature, the chin, in case you get countered, and the footwork to do it, then yeah, throw body shots against an attacking pressure fighter. But if you're chinny, be careful.
Yeah, you're right. But he's gonna have to do everything: counter left hooks, counter right hands, counter to the body. He's not gonna just beat Loma with a 1-2. I'd be very surprised if he can do that. So this is what I'm saying: whether he hits hard or not, whether he hits as hard as Lopez or Ortiz or not, he's gonna throw those shots in. Because look, a body shot, you place it correctly. It doesn't matter if you're a big puncher or not. You're gonna get the guy's attention. And so I think that's why. Don't always try to counter upstairs against Lomachenko. Try to counter downstairs like Teofimo Lopez did here. See that? He didn't see that shot coming, and that's why he felt it more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the other thing, though. Make Lomachenko shell up. Lomachenko's got a very good guard, as you're going to see here. He blocks shots very well. He keeps that chin tucked in. But if you flurry the way Ortiz is doing here, you keep him occupied. If he's blocking, he's not punching. And sometimes some judges actually reward guys for just hitting the fucking target, the guard. They say, he threw a 6-punch combo, something must have landed. So they give him credit for that. And but the problem, though, is, as you can see here, what Ortiz is doing is not something that Haney is accustomed to doing. Haney's more of a 1-2 guy, and if he doesn't see an opening, he'll just jab you. And again, we don't know if the jab's going to connect against the southpaw. So it's going to be interesting to see here whether this approach works. But Ortiz had he did get those punches in there a little bit. See there, like right there. And then Comey.
Aggressive.
Crazy fucking.
Coming forward.
Yeah. Exactly. See, you can see him there really letting his hands go, keeping Lomachenko occupied and quick too. That's the other thing, right, guys? It's quick. It's not just, waiting for it. Comey went full retard, but he had to. And this is what I'm being serious. This is the approach that I like a guy to take. You hit hard, fine. Don't look for the perfect opening. Just wait. If the guy's blocking, fucking punch him. Arms, body, top of the head, whatever. And because you keep the guy occupied. Look at that. See, Loma has to try to get close to smother the shots. That right hand got through there too. That's the other thing. If you throw combos, see that right hand there at the end? If you throw 6-punch combos, one of them's going to get through. Now, of course, then you got to, like Gonzalo said, then you got to wait. The danger with doing this is that once you're done, Lomachenko comes back at you. And if you spend all your bullets, you might not have any more ammunition to hold him back. But sometimes you got no choice against Lomachenko. He's going to cover up. He's going to tuck his chin in. And you better be able to outwork him then. Because landing a clean shot is going to be...
Yeah, BDA, and I guess also it's kind of a good idea for Haney to try to kill Lomachenko's rhythm. Because if you let Lomachenko get his rhythm and start getting the momentum and the ebb and flow of his work, whatever he's doing, he's gonna how do you say it in English? He's gonna become he's gonna get more confident. So you got to take that confidence away from Lomachenko, because remember, in the beginning, it takes him a little bit of a while to get going. So once he starts going, Lomachenko, he's doing real good. So what you got to do is you got to take that momentum away from him, so he can build upon that.
Exactly.
Right.
There you go. I agree, because if you let him, that's the worst thing you can do against Lomachenko. Let him think. You cannot let the guy think and just have his way and set up his shots with his feints and his in and out movement. You gotta go at him from the start. Hit those elbows. Hit the forearms. Whatever. If he doesn't give you a clean target, fuck it. Go for it anyway. He's a smaller guy. Believe me, he's gonna feel those shots. Now the problem here is that Comey is a big puncher, and Lomachenko is still standing in front of him. So you have to wonder, like Pete keeps saying, is Haney going to be able to get his respect? Is Haney even going to do this, first of all? I think he should. I think he should.
No.
No, I know, but he should at least.
Knock the fuck out if he does that.
He should at least throw combos. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. He tried that against Linares in the 10th round. That's exactly what he did. You know what? You know what? He did it one time against Linares in the 10th round of that fight. He did it. He sat there and he started trading with Linares coming up to the last 5 seconds of the round. And Linares started exactly that. Caught every fucking shot and then threw a 4-punch combination back. And the short right hand is what put Haney on Queer Street for the rest of the fight. The short little right hand.
Yeah, that's what happened. I think I don't have the clip here, but I think I can get it if we need to later on. Here, I'm just illustrating you what Haney could do. Like against, these are some instances against Diaz where he did throw some combos, let his hands go. And I believe he's going to need to do some of this to Gonzalo's point so that he keeps Lomachenko covered up and doesn't let him gain the momentum. But it's going to be hard because, like I said, as soon as Lomachenko catches shots, when you least expect it, he comes right back at his opponent. So if he does throw these type of combos, throw and then get out of the way. Throw and then get out of the way. Don't stay stationary. Don't remain stationary so that Lomachenko can get his back. Don't do that. Avoid doing that. The other part of the plan for Haney...
He kept Linares occupied too for the first 9 rounds, and I don't know if it was really because Linares couldn't pull the trigger because he's older. Eventually he did. He timed Haney. But for the first part, Haney, he kept pretty busy with the hands. More busy than normal. So that's maybe something to think about. He's got to go for it too.
Absolutely. And you know, Pete, you said a while back that you don't want to see Loma downloading info the first 3 rounds. You want to see him do what he did against Nakatani, which is get off to a fast start. Steve Kim said he doesn't want to see Loma downloading the MP3. He doesn't want to hear any about that. And the way I put it is...
me too. I'm tired of hearing that shit.
Yeah, the way I put it is don't wait to download the MP3. Go get the vinyl straight from the source. That's what he's got to do. And as for Haney...
Rip it.
Yeah, get the FLAC version, yeah. As for Haney...
The thing is, BDA, you know what?
Yeah.
Look, I'll say this. I agree with that totally. Let's just take... I mean, the Lopez fight is really where all this comes from, which is everybody's mad frustration with too many rounds off. He waited 7 rounds. You know, at that point, it's 70-63. And the rest of the fight, it's a desperation type thing, right? What he normally does is take 4 rounds, 3 rounds. Nakatani, he came out and very, very fast. You know, he took like 2. He really started like throwing some heavy fucking hands, like in the second round of that fight, the end of the second round. Don't forget, though, it is a southpaw against an orthodox. It is a southpaw that likes to come forward. I mean, Lomachenko does come forward. And you get an orthodox fighter who's either wants to come forward himself like Comey does here or just defend himself like Nakatani did. You know, they're going to put their heads down. And what you don't really, I guess what you want to be careful of, and there's no reason to do it, is to smash heads early in the first or second round like he did in that Nakatani fight. That was a pretty bad gash over his head.
Yeah,
and you notice it was just because he was overwhelming Nakatani, you know.
That's a good point.
In the second round, he smashed his head.
That's a very good point. And I think this is as good a time as any to bring up the infamous Lopez fight, because Lomachenko did have, I mean, you can call it an excuse, you can call it a justification, whatever you want to call it. The fact is he had a bum shoulder in that one after the second round, which he won, by the way. He won that second round. But let's take a look at the CompuBox here in case anybody still has any doubts about it. You can see here, oh boy, I hope you can see it. Hold on, let me zoom in. If you go by round, Lomachenko he threw 4 shots in the first round. Then he threw 12 in the second and landed 5, which were big left hands. And then afterwards, 11 punches, 9 punches, 9 punches in the 5th, 13 in the 6th. And then afterwards, then he started picking it up. So you can see an unusual low amount of punches in those first, even low for Lomachenko standards. Now, some people refuse to accept the fact that he was injured in that one. They say, no, it's because Lopez was hitting him hard. Let's go with that. Let's say it was because Lopez was hitting him hard, and Lomachenko was too scared to open up. Once he did open up, he was getting the best of Lopez. So what we're saying here is it's got to be the same thing. He's got to open up whether he's afraid or not. And what Pete is sort of saying, and he's been saying since he got here, is Haney doesn't have that type of punching power. So if he's going to be able to get Lomachenko's respect, it's going to have to be with timing. And we don't know if he's going to be able to do that. All right.
His timing's slow.
Yeah. Now the other
I know you can go back and watch it and CompuBox and all that. Like he might have won the second round, you know. I didn't see that, and I'm just giving you like a live take on it. I can't go back and like knock on the judges for basically what I'm seeing. I mean, if they can go back and review it, maybe they'd come to a different conclusion. But when I'm looking at that fight and I'm saying, okay, round 1, round 2, nothing going on, round 3, round 4, when it gets to round 7 and you're down 70 to 63, if you win every single round from there on out, it's a 113, 115 fight. You lose. So Lomachenko's in a point from the 7th round on where he has to knock him out. He has to stop him. Or get 2 knockdowns to get a draw. You see? So that puts Loma in a desperate spot where he has to come after Teofimo, and he did, in a straight line. And he ate every punch. Teofimo threw harder than Haney can throw. And Lomachenko ate every one of them. And he did it with basically using his left hand, using his power hand and not his lead hand, which is very important in Loma's style. All right, that's all.
It's a good point. Again, it's all... Go ahead, Gonzalo, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point for Pete. I could have included some Kambosos clips. I didn't because Kambosos was trying to box with Haney too much. And but, you know, Lomachenko's different. He's gonna come forward. He's not gonna just try to like go back and forth with you from mid-range or from the outside. No, this guy's actually gonna collapse the pocket and keep coming forward. Basically, Kambosos in the first fight, he tried to throw a straight right and a left hook, and once Haney took those 2 punches away from him, he didn't decide to make it into a different type of fight. And in the rematch, he was still trying to like box 1-for-1 with Haney, a guy that, like Pete said, can't really crack. But with Lomachenko, he's a good boxer too. But when push comes to shove, he's just gonna come after you and close the distance and land his shots.
You're right. And listen, the other thing about that, Gonzalo, is Kambosos had no guard. He's quick, he's agile. He can rival Lomachenko a little bit in terms of physical talent, you know, speed and reflexes, but no guard. Even if you watch, that's why I really doubted. I knew he was going to cause Lopez trouble, but I said eventually this guy's going to get caught because he tries to do the Philly shell a little bit too much. He tries to fight with his hands down. I said Lopez is going to catch up to him eventually, and he did catch up to him, but Lopez just didn't have the gas. I mean, you got to give credit to Kambosos too. If there's one thing that crazy Greco-Australian had was heart. He's got plenty of heart, but it's just technique-wise. Once you don't give him an opening, he just wades in trying to look for that overhand right, and it wasn't going to work against a guy like Haney, who's got a good jab. That was all mind
games.
Yeah, that was one of the surest. That was the mind games. Yeah, the fucking the Zon Tzu, the art of war. But that Haney Kambosos fight was one of the easiest picks of 2022. That's why I was surprised when I saw almost. Yeah.
And it's almost like it's almost like Kambosos became undisputed. And he started like drinking his own Kool-Aid, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm a great boxer." And a lot of times, man, these fighters they gain something like a title, and they're good fighters, obviously. But then they go against a better boxer, and they stick to their guns, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna box this dude." Same thing with Tank. You know, I'm gonna fight this dude on the inside. Who gives a fuck? No, that dude hits hard too. He's shorter. He's gonna clip you if you fucking try to exchange punches with him on the inside. But with Kambosos, yeah, he drank his own Kool-Aid. Yeah, I'm a great boxer. I'm gonna try to outbox the boxer. But with Lomachenko, he's a good boxer. He's a great boxer, but he's also a pressure fighter that people like. I heard you mention it, B-Day. You consider him to be a puncher. Yeah, he punches fucking hard.
Yeah, he does, man. He does, and he's a pressure fighter. He doesn't dance around the ring and look for counters. He's standing in front of his opponents. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up here, because we still got a long way to go here, so we're just going to try to power through this.
And he's white.
Well, Pete's the one that mentioned that.
No? Oh, shit.
No.
So one more thing. Look, Pete. So basically, that's what I expected out of Kambosos, to be like Julio Cesar Chavez. Like, dude, just you gotta barrel forward and take what the other dude got, and you gotta bring it too. And he didn't do that. When
Gonzalo,
yeah.
Okay, if you're gonna fight like Chavez, you need to have Chavez-like defense, right? You need to have a good guard, tuck your chin in. You need to have a cranium that's twice as thick. You need to have a cranium that's twice as thick as normal. Fucking Kambosos doesn't have that. He fights with his hands down. He's got a good footwork when he's boxing off the back foot, but when it comes, see, that's the thing though. When people think that fighting off the back foot is harder than going forward. I disagree. Going forward is harder because you got to mind, if you're putting pressure on a guy, you're the one that's opening up first and you're putting yourself out there. So when I see guys like Chavez, like Golovkin, like Inoue, or Beterbiev, who put pressure and rarely get hit, that's world-class defense right there, because you're the one that's taking a risk and you're still preventing the other guy from hitting you. That's good defense right there. Kambosos is not that type of guy. Very few guys out there know. What's that?
Correct. I said that's exactly correct, yeah.
I know I'm right.
You want him to be like, you expect him to see Chavez, but Chavez came forward and Kambosos made his name counterpunching Teofimo Lopez, diving straight into his right hand all night. I mean, if Teofimo Lopez is going to close the distance like a maniac, I mean, and Kambosos is going to wing back and punch, step back and punch, step back and punch. Well, why not? Why not keep throwing it? I mean, if Teofimo was going to run fucking head on into it all night, then let him come on. But Haney's not going to do that. Haney didn't do that. He's not going to come forward. He's not going to come forward against Loma. He didn't come forward against Kambosos in either fight. He just waited for Kambosos to try to come forward against him. And by the halfway through the fight, Kambosos threw a 1-2 and then stumbled into a clinch. A mutual clinch, by the way. Both guys.
Yeah, we can get to the compilation later if we have to, of all the clinches there.
The thing with Kambosos, he was never going to win the boxing battle. His brain basically he couldn't come up with a different strategy, so his brain basically got stuck on stupid. Okay, I'm going to try to box this dude from the outside. Didn't work, so now what are you going to do? Are you going to try to change it up and do something differently? But he was like, okay, well, this only game plan that we thought about. I'm thinking, man, you need to show a different side of you. But with Lomachenko, he can come forward, he can box, he can change the angles, he's more complete. That's going to be a totally different fight, and he's going to close the space. That's where he's going to have success.
We shall see. We shall see. I see we got a super chat from Toon again. Toon, shout out to you, man. You're halfway. You got us halfway covered for the subscription there to watch the fight, man. Shout out to you, because it's free here in Canada. It comes with your TSN subscription. Hopefully they don't switch it up at the last minute. But shout out to Toon, really appreciate it. And he says, hold on, what's he saying? Over under 50 clinches for Haney. yeah. What's the over under that Haney gets 50 clinches? Hey, we should do the power. What do they call it? The power round thing, where you could bet that it goes over 50, and every clinch after 50 wins you $100 or 1,000.
Yeah,
lightning round. Yeah, the lightning round. Jeez, Louise, that would be insane.
Here's the thing, guys, and I'll say something about the clinching. Yeah, I get it. Haney's a clincher. Listen.
I'm listening.
When you have a crazy reach advantage over somebody, obviously. By the way, the fight against Jojo Diaz, he had an 8-inch reach advantage.
Whoa.
8. So the thing about it is you can clinch another orthodox fighter if both guys basically are kind of, I guess, just acquiescing to it. Kambosos was tired. He's sloppy, coming in 1-2, no footwork. And then when he got inside, Haney, Haney's short range is his no man's land. All right? Because his limbs are so long that his long range is the other guy's no man's land, right? You can't just stand at the end of his punch. You can't just stand out there. he'll just pick you apart all night if you let him. And then your inside is his no man's land. Might as well be no man's land, for you, if you're giving away 6 or 8 inches to the guy. So that being said, when you're fighting 2 orthodox fighters, clinching is a little easier. It lends itself to clinching because it's kind of like slow dancing, right? You're set up so that you're chest to chest at the end of an exchange. But when you're fighting a southpaw, it's very hard to clinch somebody that's behind you. Just keep that in mind.
That's a good point. By the way, I noticed that we're giving Haney's keys to victory here. We're actually breaking it down because from what I hear from people all over the internet who are picking Haney, they just go, well, he's too skilled and too big. Haney's too skilled, too big. He's got that dog, and Loma's old. They don't break it down. We're breaking it down here for you guys so that when you talk to some people, now you can finally tell them how Haney might win. But I don't see, now that we're giving Haney his props, all of a sudden everybody shuts up in the chat, all the Haney fans. But I guarantee you, now when we go to the second part of the episode, where we explore Lomachenko's keys to victories, all of a sudden they're going to come back because they can't handle another guy getting props. So I'm very disappointed with the Haney fans out there. Or maybe they're not even Haney fans, they're just Lomachenko haters. I don't know. And I don't really care.
I don't want to ruin the show for you, Mr. BDA. Like, I don't want to get you bad press or whatever, but
oh boy.
To all you, I'm not watching the chat either, sorry. To all the Lomachenko, to all the Haney fans out there, if you think that, as BDA said, he's giving Haney his props here, I'm not. I think he sucks. I think he's garbage. And he's overrated. He's a fucking hype job.
Wow.
And he's about to go from fighting, he's about to get the biggest class jump in his entire career, and he's going to take it all in one bite, and he's going to choke on it.
I was wondering, though, if he starts bleeding from the nose, how are they going to stop the bleeding?
Yeah. Hey, Devin, take a deep breath.
They can grab the
Breathe
towel.
through your nose, out through your mouth.
They can grab the towel and clog his nostril.
Nah, come on.
You might lose a water bottle.
They're gonna use the tarmac, the tarp that they fucking when it rains, and they're gonna stick it in there. It's gonna fill halfway through the nostril. Hey, but by the way, real quick,
keep it classy. Keep it classy.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it classy here. Shout out to Vladdy V for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, Mr. BDA, Loma, 10th round TKO. All right, so I got to write that one down. Hold on a second. I thought he'd already given it. I thought I'd seen it in the... No, he didn't give it. Okay, let me write it down. Vladdy says, Loma, 10th round TKO. All right. I got that one written down. Like I said, I think... I might have misheard him, but I think Bucho said he's going to be doing a show tomorrow, which is going to be the official preview show or the official prediction show, meaning you guys get to give your predictions and we're going to write them down, okay? In the meantime, let's continue on with this film analysis here. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you've yet to subscribe already, all right? And shout out to everybody that's donated with the Super Chat so far. In fact, let me go check, because now YouTube, they have that feature back where you can check everyone that's donated. Shout out to Mr. Poe, shout out to Toon, and Vladdy V for their contributions with the Super Chat. Shout out to those fellas. All right, let's keep going here. But hold on a second. Let's not continue on. Let's wait a second here, because now we got Mr. Bray. Shout out to Bray for his... Bushido Kai. Shout out to him for his contribution Super Chat. He says, if Loma throws uppercuts, his gloves will get stuck in Haney's nose. Oh, come on. see what you guys started? You motherfuckers. Shout out to Bushido Kai.
Hey, wouldn't that be a former clinching too? If he did that?
It reminds me of... it reminds me of those... It reminds me of those gay guys that their technique when you punch them is they turn around, they drop their pants, and they just open up those ass cheeks, and your fist goes right up there, and then they clench and you can't get it out. I mean, that's a deadly move right there, man. And then your hand comes out looking like if it was in the mouth of the fly. Remember the movie The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, where he just fucking vomits all over the hand and it just dissolves it? Yeah, that's what happens there. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Toon again for his contribution Super Chat. He says, I'm a proud Haney detractor. I don't mind admitting it. Well, good for you, Toon. Good for you. At least you're honest about it. Listen, that's all we ask. That the best thing you've got in this world is your honesty. If you dislike a guy, just say you dislike him. Why not? Let's keep going here, fellas. We got a long way to go here. Long way to go. Real quick. Okay, so I mentioned the left hook for Haney to take away Lomachenko's 1-2. Here's what else he can use to take away that left hand. An uppercut. The uppercut trumps the left hand. And as you can see here, you got to be quick to be able to get it through. But it does work. And what it also does is it takes away those Lomachenko pivots that he likes to use, because he's focusing now on, see there, taking the shot, as he did against Lopez, or blocking it. And then, see, it stuns him, or it stops him in his tracks. He can't... Well, there he did it. But see, he's focused on getting the fuck out of the way of that uppercut or blocking it. So there's not much he can do in terms of counters there. So throw that uppercut. Now, can Haney do it? I've got some examples here of him doing it against Jojo Diaz. There you see him there. See that? Did I slow it down later? No, I didn't slow it down. Hold on. So you can see here, like Gonzalo said, he's just trying to watch his feet here, trying to maintain distance. He sees the left coming and boom, times Diaz with a right uppercut. But Diaz still stayed in there and came back with a flurry.
Didn't even so much as take a hitch as a pause when he caught it either.
So you think that then that lack of punching power is going to be a real factor?
Absolutely. It's boxing. You're a boxer. I get it. Okay. You better be, what's his name there? You better be B-Vol, man. You better have some footwork with it and be B-Vol to where, hey, listen, I'm not born with the power. Okay. I don't got the power, but it is what it is. I'm going to use what I got, and I'm going to, B-Vol's a good example of just a damn good boxer, damn good feet. Way narrow, way more balanced and way narrower than Haney keeps his feet, and makes it work for him.
I gotcha. I do want to say, I do want to say one thing about that though. Speed is power sometimes. So if he catches Lomachenko with punches he doesn't see coming, at least it's going to make Lomachenko maybe hesitate a little bit more, and that little extra could be enough to carry him to the win. But here's the thing that Haney's going to have to watch out for. Lomachenko keeps his chin tucked in very well. And as you can see here, Lopez threw that uppercut and it caught him on the chin a little bit, but since it's so well tucked in, didn't even snap it. So the judges probably didn't see that as a scoring blow. Here's the other problem for Haney, or something he's going to want to avoid. That right there. Do not throw the uppercut when you're out of position. Here, you're going to see something real quick. Hold on a second. Here, see he's leaning back. He's got no oomph in that punch, first of all. There's too much distance. And on top of that, Diaz is already throwing that right hook. Now, the problem is he's throwing it from a downward angle. That's why Haney didn't see it coming. And then see how he's leaning back? Boom. That snapped him. That stunned him a little bit there. Again, Diaz and Haney, they had about the same level of punching power, so neither one was going to knock each other out. But again, that's not you don't want to be trading with Lomachenko in this type of position right there with that uppercut. So really be sketchy with the uppercut, or what's the word I'm looking for here? Be efficient with it. Shout out to Tino Melendez for his contribution to the Super Chat. Hold on a second, I got to put it up there. Shout out to Tino Melendez. He says, Loma by Bill Haney throwing in the towel. Oh! Okay, I got to write down that prediction. Give me 2 seconds here, fellas. That's shout out to Tino Melendez. I like the name, by the way.
Is that Juventino? Salud to Juventino. It feels like I know him.
I think I saw Tino Melendez playing pool when Carlito Brigante was there. Carlito was showing him the move. So that's what he was doing.
Didn't I see you hanging Miklo off of the tier in the gym?
Come on. So he says Loma and Bill Haney. Hey, that's the other thing. Tino brings up a good point. What type of beating does he have to take? Does Devin have to take for Bill to step in and throw in the towel as his father and trainer?
Not much.
Is that
face.
Right?
We see some of these guys, like, for example, the guy that fought last weekend, Gabriel Flores Jr., that allow it to continue longer than it should have against, I think, Bernardo Lopez. Then Dogbo, his dad, also. Those guys took beatings, man. I'm not sure Senior is going to do that with Haney. But then again, they think they can't lose. That's the problem with them.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, we listen, it'll have to be a type of beating where Yeah, I don't know if Loma's got enough bullets to do that. I think he's got enough bullets to win, but I don't know if he can. We'll see, because again, the size advantage could play a factor. So we'll see. The other thing I want to bring up. All right. The other thing I want to bring up.
And I'm not even joking. Go ahead.
No, I got you. I think I got. Have I written your prediction down? Hold on, let me see. Uncle Pete. No, I don't have it. Do you want to give it now, Pete, or you want to wait till tomorrow or Friday?
Let's go. Let's push ahead.
All right, let's power through this. Here's the other thing. The jab against Lomachenko could work. A lot of people go, he didn't throw it that much against Jojo because he's a southpaw, and most southpaws, the weapon that works best against them is the right hand. So why use the jab? But I say, why not? It could still work. Marco Antonio Barrera was notorious for using that lead hand against southpaws. It's just an extra weapon you can use on top of the right hand. And so I think he should use it, and let me show you why. Ortiz, who's not as good a jabber as Haney, was able to get that up jab in there a couple of times, or at least even if it doesn't fully land, you still keep the guy distracted. As you see here, some of these up jabs. I want to rewind and just show you this sequence from the first round on. See how Lomachenko jumps in there? You can sort of stifle his progress. You don't even have to throw it hard. You just have to hold it in there, forward, stiff arm him, and you might be able to get him off balance, like right there. Like a little midget. I don't know if you guys have ever. There's a midget that I always used to tease, who used to work at Loblaws, which is like a supermarket here, until he got kicked out. And that's the thing you do against a shorter guy. You put your fucking hand, like when you were a kid, you put your hand on his forehead, and the little midget can't do anything about it. Yeah, stiff arm the midget.
Stiff arm him. Yeah.
So maybe that's something that Ortiz could do here. Haney, because he does have a better lead hand than Ortiz. Now the problem is here, a lot of these jabs aren't even landing. Well, that one there landed there. See that? Because it comes at an awkward angle. You don't see it coming. Now you can see here that Ortiz is very fleet-footed. I don't really see Haney moving that much. I don't see Haney moving as much as Ortiz does in this fight. So that's the other thing. Can Haney do this? Oh, excuse me. Oh, I didn't put the clips in where Haney's jabbing against Diaz. Suffice to say, Haney did jab a couple of times against Diaz. So there's a good chance that he might be able to pull that jab off against Haney. And the reason why I mentioned that, guys, is because a lot of people are picking Haney, and the reason why they're picking him is because they're saying he's going to be able to control Lomachenko with the jab. So we're going to see if that pans out. What else was I going to say? Did somebody just donate? Oh, shout out to Never Sober, by the way. Shout out to Never Sober for reestablishing his BDM membership program. And he had this to say. He says, Loma is going to crucify... Loma is going to crucify Haney, Asian Rome style, speaks in tongues. Haney didn't look fast against Camboso's 1 and 1-2 combos won't be enough. You know what? I think that's why I'm picking Lomachenko in this fight, because I don't think that 1-2 style is going to be enough to fully get him the decision. Maybe he can keep it close enough to pull off a decision, but 1-2s at a time, especially when he doesn't hit as hard as Lopez, I don't know, man. So let me write down Never Sober's prediction.
Never Sober.
By the way, Pete, did you hear the last episode we did?
I don't think so. I think I missed. I think I was working. I think I missed it.
Shadowban called in and he said that white people are always ruining everything for everybody, and he said lynch all white people. And Jimmy got incensed.
Yeah.
Jimmy got incensed and started going after him, saying you wouldn't say that to a white guy's face. You're all talk, blah blah blah. You got a pudgy body. And then Shadowban started talking in tongues. So I think that's what Never Sober was referencing there when he was talking about the tongue. Speaking in tongues. Always entertaining here at BDO Boxing. We always have something to look forward to. What else was I going to show you here? Hold on a sec. Okay, so left uppercuts, jabs. Just listen. If there's to keep it simple for Haney, let your hands go. Don't look for the perfect shot against Lomachenko because his guard is too good. He hypnotizes you with his feints. You got to make him work. Like Gonzalo said, keep him off the back foot. Make him chase. Make him be behind the 8-ball. That's what he's got to do. Now, can Haney do this, though? What gave Lomachenko trouble against Ortiz was the pivots. See how he was very quick on his feet, bending down, which is something that Haney does, but bending down and then pivoting at the same time. See those pivots right there? Or galloping too with his feet, crossing them, which is dangerous, but nevertheless, and even then there he's still getting hit. Can Haney do this, but better is what I'm trying to get at. Let's watch a little bit here. See if we can come up with something. See that? See how fleet-footed the guy is? That's what caused Lomachenko trouble in this fight.
Not a chance.
Well,
I'd say if he's not great with the feet, he's got fresh legs. He's the younger man, obviously.
Right.
So he's gonna try to mirror and keep up with Lomachenko as much as he can. So if Lomachenko turns, he's gonna turn with them, like young Teofimo did too.
See, because
when Lomachenko tries to take that angle, he's just gonna try to keep up with them, and then proceed to wrap them up. But that's a different story.
The reason that Ortiz can do this, by the way, is he's got rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds of camp sparring with Lomachenko.
Right.
And this is something that you can develop maybe over years sparring with a guy when you really get to know him. But, I mean, I'm sure he's done. Hey, listen, I'm sure he's done it the other way, which Haney's going to do, which is keep his feet about 6 inches wider than Ortiz is keeping them. And just post his jab out when somebody comes in on you, like Haney's going to do. I'm sure he's tried that against Lomachenko and gotten fucking punished for it. Bad. And sparring. Am I right or am I right? Thank you.
Could be. I mean, hey, listen, it's one thing to prepare for this type of style against Lomachenko. It's another one to fully pull it off. And like you said, there's been guys who have had good footwork who couldn't pull this off against Lomachenko, but I don't think Loma ever... I mean, look at this. Hold on a second. Before we get to this, Pete, and to your point, and to Gonzalo's point as well, you guys sort of touched on the same thing. I gotta give a shout out to Bushido Kai for his contribution to the Super Chat. Why isn't it appearing here? All right. Shout out to Bushido Kai, who's donated with the Super Chat. Shout out to him. He says, Loma told reporters today, if you know about Haney's jab, we know about Haney's jab. That's a good point, and that's something that I always try to repeat and reiterate on this show, which is that if we are seeing it, chances are some of these guys are seeing it too, these professional boxers. That being said, my question is, he knows about the jab. Is he going to be able to stop it? It's one thing to know about it. You know, everyone knew about Manny Pacquiao's 1-2. They couldn't really stop it. So we'll see if
it's kind of like
Haney's going to stop throwing it. How about this? By the halfway point of the fight, by 7 rounds, Haney's not going to be throwing it anymore because he's going to be too worried about Loma slipping off the line and making him pay.
It's kind of like
this clip with Ortiz right here. This last clip with Ortiz where he ducks down of Herring and then pivots around and grabs him by the waist. Where do you think you learned this from? How many times have you seen it with somebody else? Let's just say.
Yeah, let me. That's what I wanted to get to. Because I tried to articulate this real quick. I tried to articulate this on one of the videos that I did. It's still up there, by the way. Okay, so we've seen Haney, by the way. Let's compare and contrast Ortiz's footwork with Haney. So first we're gonna watch Ortiz fights and his footwork. See there, that's against Jamel Herring. That was before the Lomachenko fight.
I was gonna say, BD, it's kind of like the COVID vaccine. Though he knows about the jab, but he's gonna be able to stop it.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense, man. But
everybody's got to get the vaccine. You can't say no.
Okay, but you're seeing here Ortiz. See that a lot of pivots, a lot of shifting, a lot of changing angles. See, he clinches and then he keeps his opponent turning. I mean, he's very agile too, don't get me wrong, but I don't remember seeing him flash this much footwork. And again, that doesn't mean Ortiz is better than Haney. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is what caused Loma to look relatively subpar in that Ortiz fight. And now let's look at Haney. See here, this is against Cambosos. See how he's pivoting too as well. But he's not bouncing. He doesn't have to bounce, by the way, as long as you get out of the way. But again, this is against Cambosos, who's just waiting in. This is against the flat-footed Jojo Diaz. See, he's trying to pivot off the shots. he's keeping him turning a little bit, but he certainly isn't as dynamic as Ortiz. So that's my big question: is this limited movement, which can often work, but is that going to be enough to keep Lomachenko guessing or to keep him looking as bad as he did against Ortiz?
Dude, it couldn't be more different. First of all, if you watch Ortiz in those herring clips where he's pivoting while he's clinching and he's wrapping his head up around the other guy's armpit and coming out behind him, you've watched Lomachenko do that since, I don't fucking know. Anybody that ever tries to rush him, look at this. This is like, I mean, you could ask Ortiz, I don't know, maybe he'll say something different, but I don't know where you think he might learn this from, but I get his feeling that if he's a student of the game, you'll pick something up from your sparring partner. And that's exactly what Loma does. This like matador shit. So,
by the way,
that's one thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I do this to people all the time at the gym. Easy work, but go ahead.
You do it to your rape prospects. No,
okay,
not rape prospects.
Come on, man.
Security guards at Walmart when you're shopping. But the thing about it
the old greeters, the 75-year-old greeter.
Even with all this, he never really did this type. He never executed this type of footwork against Lomachenko because it was more defensive. All right. Look at how he spins him around like that. That's like Loma does that shit like in the shit. I don't know. What's the kid's name? The white kid. Fuck. I don't recall it. Does it in most all of his fights. That's one. Number two, I did a little film. For once, I actually watched some film on Haney. So what do you want to do? You want to get like similar styles, right? I mean, let's just be real. You can watch all the film and all the fights, but I don't want to watch these dwarfs in Mexico that he fought in that sports bar. Okay, I'm not looking for midget beatings. All right.
Right.
So what I did was, I watched this DAZN fight. This one here, this JoJo fight. Let me tell you something, dude. I know the commentary is like atrocious. It really is like nauseating with the DAZN, with what's his name, the Cobra, or whatever the fuck his name is, the bickering that goes on. But let's be real, man. Sometimes you glean a little bit of insight from it because they have these fighter interviews, to get background on these guys.
Mm-hmm.
What if I told you that Jojo Diaz, that fight right there that you're watching, was the second southpaw that Devin Haney's ever faced? The second, two. And they said, the way they said it in the broadcast, it wasn't even like as if the other guy even is ever known, right? You don't even know the guy. In other words, it might have been one of those first 5 or 10 fights in Mexico, because the way they said it was, and I quote, yeah, Devin said that he did fight one other southpaw before. That's the sum total of the. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I also fought Loma, or this is my second fight against a southpaw. My third fight, I also fought Jojo. Now I'm fighting Loma. He couldn't even name the guy.
Wow.
Okay, so Lomachenko is going to be the third. Effectively, it's going to be the second time he's ever fought a southpaw. All right, thank you.
I mean, hey, listen, that's a big factor right there, man. I mean, you've never fought that. Yeah, there's a big gap between Diaz and Loma. But then again, I think the argument some people make for Haney is that he's only 25, and so he could be improving exponentially. So that's the hope that I've been hearing from some of the Haney fans. But you're right, though. It is a significant factor coming into this fight. The fact that he doesn't have that much experience against southpaws. But you
I saw him doing some farmer carries. BDA Haney was doing some farmer carries.
Okay.
And the bar had like this handle that swings, and that'll really build up your forearms. So maybe they're just working on punching power. The moving handle on the weight really builds the tension on the forearms and develops the wrist. So he's looking to land with power.
I don't even know what a farmer lift is. Let me Google it. Did you say farmer lift? Gonzalo? Oh, don't leave me hanging, man.
Say again, BD?
Did you say he was doing farmer lifts?
Yeah, he had this bar. He had this bar, kind of like a curl bar, but it's the one that got the bars going down the middle. Basically, 2 bars going horizontally and 2 bars going parallel to that, like vertically, and then you get in the middle of
Okay.
that
Yeah.
contraption,
shrugs with
lifting
you.
weights, and it's got
I see it.
Shaped thing
Yeah.
with the fucking. You can
Then
put
it's
plates
got
on it, you can do
handles
shrugs
on it.
with it.
and then got handles on it. Then the handles are moving, and that's where you get the farmer carry. Because farmers, they develop a lot of strength doing like their like menial jobs around the house or their farm, and that just develops power. Like when the handle is like moving, let's say you're carrying 2 buckets, essentially the same thing.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
just
kind of it right there.
You're
That's kind of it.
shoplifting two big screen TVs out of Walmart. All right, you got one in each.
That's kind of it.
Let's keep it
but
moving.
the thing that
like you're doing a beer dash, like you're fucking robbing a beer store. You get a case in each hand and you run. I got you.
Yeah, but then add a handle to that that's got like a moving arm. That makes it even harder. Because as you're moving, that's the arm is swinging and you're holding it from the handles. A moving handle.
There you go, man.
It's basically like a pinch grip. You know, when you're carrying the pinch grip, you're working on the strength from the hands.
Well, we'll see if it works, man. We'll see if it works. I certainly, like I said, I have seen Haney trying to tighten up that left hook when he's punching the mitt. So maybe he is trying to maximize power. It's one thing to do it in the mitts. It's another thing to do when a guy's punching you back. So we'll see if it works. Shout out to Recognize the Matrix for a comment, by the way. He left a comment here. He says, if Pete says you're welcome again, tell him you're welcome and to drop a super chat for being so thankful at BD Boxing Talk. Yeah, that's right, Pete. You gotta drop a tenner, as they say in England. Next time you say you're welcome.
I got 20 if Matrix comes on this show right now. I want to talk to Matrix.
Yeah, why not, man? All right, let me keep playing these clips here where we're comparing Ortiz's footwork with Haney's footwork, and I gotta go take a little bit of I gotta go to the latrines, as Gonzalo says. Hold on a second. I'll leave you with these clips. All right, I'll be right back.
As Bill Haney calls it, dessert.
Yeah, I seen them do them farmer carries. It's like, that's interesting.
He might blow weight, man. He might just come in. He might just pull. The only hope he's got. All right, I'll give him some fucking advice. Ready? Listen, close your fucking nose and open your ears, Haney. Because here's your only fucking chance. Okay? Your only chance, because you're not going to fight like Ortiz. You're not going to be as aggressive as Ortiz. You're not going to be as aggressive as Salido. You're not going to put Lomachenko in a position where he has to come at you in a straight fucking line like a maniac, like happened with the Lopez fight. And even if he does come at you like that, like a maniac on a straight line, you ain't got the balls to fucking keep him off of you. So the only chance you got, are you listening to me? The only chance you got is to blow the weight like Salido did. That's your only chance at having enough punch resistance to see the end of this fight. Fucking fruitcake. That's it.
I mean, he's got 36 hours to recover now, so they give him a little bit more of a leeway.
Yeah. They're doing that. I mean, they're doing that because he's bitching. Yeah, they're doing that because he's already bitching about the weight. He's already bitching. He's already getting them all primed up. The weight's a problem. You got it? And I'll tell you something else. I'll wait till DBDA is done with his piss break. Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys know that BDA urinates with his pants and his underwear all the way down to his ankles? I think it's disgusting and a little bit juvenile. I don't care for it. I think it's a technique that you don't really need anymore. I mean, you know.
Yeah, he did look extra gaunt last time he fought, looking ashy and like.
Fuck him.
Remember that character from He-Man? Remember Skeletor from He-Man?
Yeah, he looked like a burnt match. He sucks. He's garbage. And he's not a very good person either. I got to be honest with you. I used to think he was like a real good person and all that. Pretty well spoken, like mild-mannered kid. But you know what he is? He's a spoiled fucking bully. That's what he is. Because he was on film on a fight promotion where he had one of his fighters, I guess, that he was representing. I guess he had him on a fight card out there in Phoenix, Arizona, and they had some opponent brought in. He was trying to get the kid killed, laughing about it. He's a faggot.
Yeah, he says a lot of the. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a whole lot of film in my life playing football. A lot of film. I mean, I don't know why these boxers don't get like an AV service, like people to cut film for them to break down these opponents. But I gotta tell you something, man. When you go to watch opponents of Lomachenko's to find weaknesses, shit. You better be watching. I mean, don't be watching Ortiz coming forward like a maniac and that's got crazy rounds with experience with Lomachenko. Don't be watching Salido, who has the balls and the punching power and it's a second pro fight for Lomachenko to do that to him and almost got knocked out doing it.
It's interesting.
And don't watch Teofimo because he's not going to give you 7 rounds.
Yeah, that's what it's interesting because I think Tyson Fury, when he fought Klitschko, he said, I'm not watching the Corey Sanders fight, which you lost. I'm not watching the Layman Brewster fight, which you lost. I'm watching the ones you won. And that's something that's very interesting because, you don't watch necessarily the fights where the guy lost. You watch the ones he won because you want to see what he does often. And then you can pick off the pattern, the real pattern of what he's all about. So you're absolutely right. And also that, like you said, the context from those fights. Like, if Haney watches Salido, is he going to fight like Salido? Is he going to come forward and hit him in the balls and all that?
Exactly. Thank you. Mr. BDA, the answer is Tyson Fury is a fucking dimwit. You watch all the film of all the fights. You watch all the plays of the football team you're playing. When you go into a game, they've watched every play that you've ran. And so they understand what you do when you're doing good, when you're doing bad, when you're having your responsibility, when you're not, when your feet are way too wide apart, when you're loafing, when you get lulled to sleep, when you get too aggressive, the whole thing. So they're watching your ass. And when they're showing you a film of an opponent, here's the thing. You watch it all, but what do you actually focus on? You got to focus on what's realistic, right? So yes, Salido came forward like a badass, low blows, the whole fucking 9 yards, right? And also blew weight, completely blew weight. I mean, didn't try to make weight, right? Came into a 126-pound fight as a fucking 47-pounder. Okay, let's not forget it. And Ortiz came forward, aggressive, balanced, with power, and with the background experience of sparring with Lomachenko for camps. Okay, and Teofimo Lopez, forget shoulders. Maybe the guy will tear his rotator cuff for you, Haney. But your faggot ass is not going to fucking sit there and be lucky enough to have Lomachenko circle around you for 7 rounds before he gets going and then be desperate for a knockout. You ain't lucky enough to have that. What you can do, open your ears and listen to me, all right? You listen up. You're a fucking bully. You're a spoiled bully. The only chance you have is to up your punch resistance by completely not making weight. If you don't even try to make the weight, vacate all the belts, embarrass Top Rank doing it, make them erase that little undisputed banner they have, the graphic on the poster.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Which is written in little tiny gray letters, by the way. Little tiny gray letters. If you make them erase that, and then you embarrass yourself and you fucking completely baffle and come in and bushwhack, because you're already bitching about the weight. That's why the weigh-in's so early.
Right.
You're already bitching about the weight, you bitch. You're already bitching about the weight because you had to fight Kambosos twice. And now you don't want to make the weight. You can make the weight, but you don't want to because your punch resistance is going to be for shit and he's going to knock you out. So the only chance you got to survive this fight, you're still going to get your ass beat if you do this in a decision. But the only chance you got is to gain a bunch of punch resistance by completely not even trying to make the weight. Thank you. Thank you.
You didn't say you were welcome.
I recognize. Thank you.
You should have said you're welcome for the super chat. But yeah, listen, look, I think you can extrapolate some things from the Teofimo Lopez fight because they both have, Haney and Lopez have the same punching rhythm. 1-2, they both like to counter with single shots. Now, the only thing though is when I've heard people call in and they go, well, yeah, Lomachenko ain't good because he lost to Salido. So what are you trying to say? You're trying to say Haney's going to fight like Salido? And even then, Salido against the guy who only had it was only his second professional fight, almost couldn't pull it off. Like Pete said, he had to blow the weight, he had to hit the low blows. I mean, if you want to be an idiot and discount all of that's fine. I mean, I'm not trying to educate you here, but people can see the context of the fight. So yeah, listen, Haney's not going to fight like Salido. If he does, I would be very surprised. And again, the big question here is, obviously he doesn't hit as hard as Lopez. If he did, he wouldn't have got 12 rounds with Linares and Gamboa. Old guys that have been stopped before in their primes.
Or
Right.
Comey or Ortiz. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking
Salido,
about...
Salido, he hits really hard with the overhand. And he counters. He's a counter puncher too, Salido. He waits for you to punch and throws that overhand with a lot of power.
It wasn't his power in that fight. It wasn't his power in that fight that gave him competitive boost. It was the not cutting weight. It was the punch resistance of coming in 147 pounds for a 126-pound fight.
Yeah, he's also a big puncher, though.
Just he took
also
the
a big puncher. Something that Haney don't got.
He really didn't punch Lomachenko with that many clean punches. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing.
He did legal punches, a lot of ball shots. Don't get me wrong. Okay, is Salido a southpaw? No, he's orthodox.
That's right. He's orthodox. Yeah, but hey, listen,
he's orthodox. I'm just saying, Haney does not have the ability to fight like Ortiz or Comey or Teofimo. All right, let's get on. Let's get going.
Yeah, because, okay, listen, for the Haney fans out there that are just dropping by, I'm pretty sure you're going to be pissed off because now we're getting to Lomachenko's keys to victory. So before you get your panties in a bunch, rewind and watch the first portion of the fight where we did Haney's keys to victory, all right? I know a lot of you don't like Lomachenko, so you're probably not going to be able to withstand this portion of the show. All right, so we talked about Haney's keys to victories. Now let's get to Lomachenko. What does he have to do at 35 years of age to pull off the win against the younger men? Because that's what people keep bringing up. People keep bringing up Haney's age, the size advantage. So what can Lomachenko do to offset all of that? Well, start off quickly. And when I say quickly, go to the body. Again, this is something that he doesn't really do all that much. He likes to go upstairs, but he's very effective going to the body because he's got underrated punching power, is what I'm trying to get at. And as you can see here, this is the same clip that Gonzalo had picked. Nice little left hand. Now, if you notice what he does here is he's coming forward with little steps, little hops. He changes levels, which also serves as a feint. As you can see there, it urges Ortiz to throw a shot. And while he's throwing it, he ducks underneath it and boom, comes in with left. As you can see too, he punched through the target and it made him bent forward. And hey, look at this. Whoa. Diaz also got him with a similar hand. There you go. Yeah, left hand.
There's that left to the body, buddy.
Yeah, doubled
There's
him
that left
over.
to the body I was talking about.
And that caused them to fall into the ropes and go for the clinch. He's patented clinch, by the way. Yeah.
See that? See the left right on the belly button? Boom.
Yeah.
If you back that up, you'll see it. One feint by Diaz, one step forward, and one straight shot to the belly button. Belly button sounds faggy. To the solar plex.
But he should really, Lomachenko has to go to the body in this one. So when people say he has to start fast, invest to the body against the bigger guy who's probably going to be working harder than he is going to make the weight. So go to the body. He did it against Comey a little bit. He did it against Lopez, although he didn't do it as much as he had to against Lopez, partially because of those first 5 rounds or first 6 rounds where he wasn't doing that much. So I'm saying attack the body, attack it early. Don't wait till the 6th round. And like Gonzalo said way back when we started the show, see that? He's got a good shovel hook to the body. And see there against Teofimo. Ooh, see that? See how Teofimo was, he put the elbow, see there? He pinned it right back because he felt that one. Go to the body. Do not wait. Here's against the aforementioned Salido, hurting him to the body, giving Salido a taste of his own medicine. And he had him holding on to dear life. Salido didn't usually clinch that much. So that lets you know how badly he was hurt, or how bad he was hurt in this one. So you see those nice little short uppercuts. He's putting a lot of weight into them. He has to do that against the bigger Haney. Invest to the body. This is against Gary Russell Jr. Now at 126, I don't know why he was more comfortable. I guess because he didn't fear he didn't really respect Russell's power that much. He really just beat up poor Gary Russell Jr. here, who had much more experience as a professional. That didn't help him one iota. as Lomachenko
Another
just beat him
southpaw,
up.
by the way.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Oh, yeah, but that, I've noticed
Not
that he throws that. Was that?
I mean, I'm just saying it's hard to apply this to Haney because this is against the southpaw, and so is Luke Campbell.
Yeah, but the reason why I chose these clips is just to illustrate the power. See there, he took a little step back to prevent being smothered there, and then he went to the body, and that one doubled him over. So that's what he has to do. He's fighting a longer guy. There's going to be space there to work that torso. He tried to do it a little bit against Ortiz. Didn't do it as much as he should have, by the way. I mean, if he would have started from the get-go to the body, he would have taken away Ortiz's legs. See there? Set up an uppercut with the body punches. This is what he has to do. Hold on a second. What was it here?
Yeah, show that Linares one where he knocks him out with it.
Yeah, there you go. That right there. See that? He mixed it up upstairs. A couple of throwaway shots. Feint. Goes downstairs. See, at this point, poor Linares didn't know where the punch was going to come from. He got hit with two upstairs. He was looking for the shot upstairs. He's just boom. Just a little bit of a gap there in his guard. And that's all she wrote. And then look at Diaz working the body on overtime against Haney. Forcing him to clinch. Forcing him to try to smother those shots. See this shot there? This time he started with a lead right hook. And then boom. But see how he connected on the plexus there? And see how he doubled Haney over a little bit. Haney took it well, though. He hit it well. This one, though, I think this one's going to be the key for Lomachenko. Wait for Haney to throw the right. And when he throws it, catch him with that left hook downstairs. Because he might not be able to take that shot while he's expanding his air. See how he forced him to clinch there? Here's more Diaz working the body. Countering with a couple of hooks and then going down upstairs. Combo downstairs. Here they're trading. See that left again. Right hook, left hand downstairs. This is going to be interesting here. Left downstairs and look at Haney. See how he's open for a shovel hook upstairs? I mean a shovel hook. Gonzalo, what's that punch there when you throw the lead
swivel
hand?
jab? Like sort of like a hook.
Swivel jab, yes, the swivel jab, yes,
hand.
thank you. Yeah, the swivel
Farmer's
jab
carry.
right there.
Farmer's punch. Hey,
That's not
this left hand to the body here. The first
Straight
one in
one.
this fight here was landed in about the third round, and that's what completely changed Haney's reaction to the fight. That's when he just started backing up like crazy. And then you could see how Ortiz defended it a lot better. He's defended it a hell of a lot better because I guess his torso, Haney's torso is longer. What I'm trying to say is that when he goes into that Philly shell, you could see right here, he's either getting caught in the stomach or he's getting caught in the head, one or the other. He can't guard both. And he got caught bad in the 10th or 11th round. This is the round here where he really got brutalized.
Yeah, the one we saw way back was a little left to a straight left to the stomach, the plexus. That's the one that really doubled him over, forced him to clinch. And then here you can see straight left. Because here's what Haney does, by the way. This is important. Whenever you throw a left upstairs or downstairs, he turns into the punch. See that? He's turning into his right hand. That's a standard move that southpaws do against the right hand, against the straight right. See, they turn with the shot. Now here, he wasn't exactly sure where it was coming from. And like Pete said, he was guarding upstairs. He took it downstairs. And then he's squaring up a little bit. And then, whoop, he's open for a right hook upstairs. So that's going to be key too as well later on for Lomachenko. He's going to have to make Haney trade so he can catch him with this type of shots.
If you back that up, what really happened is he left his jab hanging out there too long. He tried to just push off with that jab. Diaz slept inside of it and threw a straight left hand to the body. When he started really looping those shots in there, like a hook, like a left hook, a lead left hook to the body, he went downstairs, and then he went upstairs. And Haney had to make a choice which one to defend. And this is with Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz is a good fighter and all that, but dude, he came straight forward all night, straight line, straight in. All he did was take one step to the outside of Haney's foot and threw a punch. So, I mean, again, this is his first basically his first. This is the first time he's ever fought a southpaw, and then Lomachenko is going to be the second.
Yeah, that's a good point because I have noticed that. At least I think I've noticed that Haney's better at controlling a fight when he's moving back and forth, basically forward and back. But when it comes to turning, he tends to lose his balance when he throws the hooks. And against a guy that changes the angles a lot and turns, like Lomachenko, he's not going to be able to control the opponent, like trying to move with him.
It's fucked.
When it comes to that sort of a fight. Back and forth, yeah, he does lean back, and that's not a good thing. But he's pretty good with, like, because I think he patterns himself behind Mayweather, like, a lot, with the, what do you call that? The shot where you lean back and throw forward again?
The lean back counter. Lean back counter.
Pull counter.
Yeah, the pull counter. So he does, like, he's got pretty good control when it comes to those type of movements, back and forth. Bobbing and weaving and countering off your, basically incorporating your offense with your defense. But when it comes to turning, he tends to lose his balance, in my opinion.
Look how wide his feet are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. He's looking for that pull counter. That's why he doesn't move as much. Ortiz, what he's doing is he's moving in and out, and he's flurrying at the same time. Now, here you can see against Jojo, again, my thing is Lomachenko has to start early, and he has to go to the body. But look at this sequence here. He gets Haney trading, and again, we'd already seen this sequence before from a different angle. He gets him to trade by going to the body. See how he flirts to the body? And that sets him up for the right hook, because now Haney's leaning to the side. He goes, okay, let me try to catch him with a right uppercut. He's got his chin up in the air. He's not blocking that side. Throwing the uppercut from too far away, and boom, catches that right hook. Now, also, to Diaz's credit, you can't see it from this angle, but he was throwing that right hook from a downward angle. So he lifted it up. That's why Haney didn't see it coming. But that's what Lomachenko has to do. He has to get him to trade. And here's against Gambosos again. He was throwing that. See that uppercut? He was trying to throw a left hook and then counter with the uppercut, but he let Gambosos get on his wheelhouse. Gambosos changed levels and got that overhand right, and then he forces Haney to clinch, as you can see here. See that? He cut the hook, and now he's like, oh, let me clinch. That's his second line of defense.
Look at Kambosos, too. Look at how Kambosos reacts to the clinch, too, by the way. He didn't clinch that much in the Diaz fight because it's hard to clinch a southpaw when he's behind you. But even though he did come straight in, and he kind of did when he wanted, But look at Kambosos, just clinching along with him, half slapping him.
Yeah, he's just trying to let the referee know, hey, he's clinching me. He's clinching me.
You know what? Haney's dad calls. Haney's dad calls when Devin clinches and he starts like walking him backwards, like pushing him backwards. He calls it bossing up. Boss him up.
Bossing up.
Let's boss up. Let's boss up in there. Let's boss up in there.
Fuck.
All right. When he gets inside on you, he's talking about Linares. All right. In the corner in the third round. Listen to this. In the corner in the third round, he comes in, he sits down, and Haney goes, this is when he had Ben Davidson with him too. And he goes, hey son, listen, he's trying to punch. He's trying to set you up for that punch. And Haney goes, he can't punch. Haney said, he can't punch. He cut his dad off and argued with him. He goes, he can't punch. Oh, okay. The 10th round, you're doing the fucking millywop. You were doing the Dougie in the 10th round when he punched you. But anyway, he goes, he can't punch. And he goes, hey, listen, when he gets inside on you, I want you to boss him up. Let's boss him up. Boss up.
So you're saying that if he doesn't listen to his father and continues to try to boss him up, which, by the way, what a term. If he bosses him up and he gets caught, he's going to be doing the Scatman Crothers. Ba-boom-ba.
Yeah, he's going to be doing he's going to be doing the Dougie.
He's going to be doing the Dougie.
He's going to be doing the Superman. He's going to be doing the Milliwatt, the Pogo, the Bankhead Bounce, and the running man.
You're making up names at this point, man. Come on. Now, listen.
Yeah.
One thing that I do agree with, though, is everyone's saying it. It's a simple fight, this one. Loma, for him to win, he has to start early, and he has to go to the body. If he doesn't try, he doesn't win. Now, the other thing he has to do is exploit the lean forward style, because as you can see here, see how this is Haney's stance. He leans forward, hands down. Ortiz was doing it a little bit too, but he's much more mobile with his feet, in and out, bouncing. Haney, like Gonzalo said, he's trying to look for that pullback counter. And so if you don't telegraph your shot, like Jojo, look at how he's not telegraphing it here. See? Well, he's telegraphing a little bit, but not enough for Haney to not see it coming. So he gets hit with a jab. I'm just going to play you a couple of clips here of him hitting Haney with the jab. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Peter, you think he leans forward too? Because I remember some guy, man, he used to do this in the gym. He leans forward to offer his head to kind of draw you in. Like, hey, I'm going to show you my head so you can punch. And once you fucking get going, I'm going to lean back and counter you. So he's basically just trying to, like, lure the dude in. You know what I mean? You think so? That's what it is. Yeah, that's the pullback counter. Like you said, he leans forward to get you to open up so he can counter off your shot. But sometimes, I mean, you can't just do that all the time, and that's what he does. See that? Like here, he's got his hands way too low. He's in Jojo Diaz's wheelhouse, but he's way too comfortable. So Diaz goes, all right, you're just gonna stand there with your hands down. Boom, the quickest punch, which is a jab. I don't care how fast you are, you can't make him all miss, and he catches it, and there's nothing much he can do here because he's getting his head snapped back from this position. He can counter with power. Now, again, there's a difference here between Lomachenko and Diaz, which is that Diaz was just walking with his hands up. Loma's not going to do that, so it's not going to be as, like Haney expected that. So at this point, he was getting too comfortable. That's why he got caught with those shots. But you can see here that Lomachenko is good at setting up his jab, too, against taller guys. See that he's chasing the fleet foot. And notice also, that again, the difference. Can't stress that enough. The difference in the footwork here between Haney and Ortiz. Haney here looking for that pullback counter, much more flat-footed, whereas Ortiz, look at how he's trying to see. He's moving side to side, but he's still getting caught with that jab. And see that he got hit with a jab here because Loma's changing levels. Boom. Look, Loma gets into that wheel. He's like a burglar. Or like one of those, those guys that are your girlfriend probably has one of them. She has her male friend. She had, well, sort of, yeah. She's got her male friend, and he starts getting closer and closer and closer. Before you know it, he's trying to fuck her. That's what Loma does. That's what any good fighter should do. Get in there, close little by little, and now all you got to do is take. What's that?
Yeah, and then fuck her. Yeah,
exactly. So see,
I turn southpaw when I'm advancing on a girl. I did it at the gym today. Hey, the thing about it is that. By the way, when you're watching this fight, you're watching these clips, Haney fans. I want to just say it again. He had an 8-inch reach advantage. An 8 inches. I mean, speaking of Uncle Pete, reach advantage on Jojo Diaz. And Jojo Diaz still got past that masterful jab. Let me tell you something. Loma's head's never on the line, ever. Head slots all the time, all kinds of movement. Watching the Ortiz fights a little bit, because Ortiz has got enough experience with him to negate some of these tricks. But he's not going to be able to find Lomachenko. Your boy Haney's fucked up. Never.
Well, Pete is very confident in that with his assessment. But I just want to point something out here as well, which is that the jab. Okay, so oh man, I forget the sequence we were at, but Lomachenko does something very sneaky where that's okay. I want you guys to put your comments in here, but I was just gonna say that Lomachenko, he gets close very slowly. Guys he lulls guys to sleep a little bit, and then like here, see how he's advancing forward. Let me just slow it down here. He's advancing. Now once he's here, see he's got his lead foot on the U. Right on the center of that U on the canvas. All he has to do from this position is take a half an inch step forward. Boom, it connects. He's in punching range. He controls range very well. And Haney can't be thinking about two things at the same time. He can't be thinking, focusing on the feet and then focusing on punching at the same time. It has to be automatic. And that's the problem with fighting Lomachenko is he gets close when you least expect it, and then he closes that distance very quickly. So as you can see here, he's landing that jab. Now, the reason why I'm showing you the jab is because everything else flows from the jab. And as you can see here, Ortiz is getting hit with that jab. Lomachenko's putting pressure. See there that shotgun jab there, doubling up on the jab. That's the other key to victory that I'm going to show you later on. The shotgun jab. But here again, see how he slides his way in. See that little changing levels, and then boom! Before you know it, he's in punching range. See that? And Ortiz.
Yeah, he's in punching range, and he's also he scoots in, but he's in punching range. But what makes him dangerous is he's setting up his second shot.
Exactly.
So that's the thing with Haney. You gotta stifle Lomachenko's momentum by throwing your jab. Once you get to the keys of victory for Haney, the jab is going to be important. You got to put that on his face. Because once Lomachenko, what makes him dangerous is not so much the first punch, but the second and third punch.
Exactly.
And that's all created by the way he inches himself in and he's got his feet in place to continue punching.
Absolutely. Now here you see too against Lopez. Once he got that jab going, he was fencing with Lopez, and Lopez really was out of his element, taking way too many. He took a lot of jabs once Lomachenko got going. Now, real quick, shout out to hold on a second, who was here? Juggernaut. Shout out to Juggernaut for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, will Haney vacate his belt if he wins and use his undisputed status to mandate a Rolly fight for the WBA 140 pounds? First of all, shout out to Juggernaut for his contribution to Super Chat. I don't know, man, because it's different promotional outfits. The big question here, Juggernaut, is will Haney re-sign with Top Rank? Because this is his final fight on the contract. Although they could be renegotiating already, or they could have renegotiated already, and we just don't know it. Maybe they'll announce it after the fight. But Rolly is still with the PBC. The PBC is notorious for not wanting... You know, it's interesting. Somebody mentioned that this is why they don't let PBC fighters out of the PBC stable, because if they lose, it makes their main star look bad. Look, Tank Davis, Rolly Romero was one of his best wins. And Romero was getting outboxed by a 40-year-old, at least 40-year-old. He looked like he was 65, old man. And the ref had to save him, to save face. Isaac Cruz...
Crypt Keeper.
The Crypt Keeper, yeah, like somebody else mentioned that too, yeah. Isaac Cruz, he's good, but if he takes on William Cepeda and Cepeda beats him, and let's say he beats him better than Tank Davis did, people are going to go, oh boy, that makes Tank Davis. So this is an information war. From a PR's perspective, public relations perspective, you don't want your guy looking bad by proxy. This is how they're thinking. Again, I don't like it either, fellas. I want to see the best fight the best, but that's how they're looking at it. They don't want their guys fighting other guys because then it makes their main fighter look bad in comparison. So Juggernaut, I don't know if we're ever going to see Rolly fighting outside the PBC unless the PBC collapses or Showtime just decides to, you know what, Paramount decides to cut the deal off. We got no more money for boxing. Go look for a TV network somewhere else. That's a possibility. So shout out to Juggernaut. Let's keep going here. We're almost done here. And then we can rewind if you guys want to rewind to some clips or whatever. Putting it all together, start out quickly for Lomachenko. So we saw him landing the jab. Now off the jab, he can start letting those 1-2-1s go. And this is essentially how he beat Ortiz, by the way. That 1-2-1 all night. Ortiz didn't know if he was going downstairs, upstairs. And see, Ortiz, even with his good footwork, his fleet feet, couldn't get out of the way of those 1-2-1s enough. And see what I'm talking about here? Lomachenko inching his way forward, and before you know it, he's closing the distance, lightning quick. That's the clip Gonzalo had shown us before as well. That Pacquiao-esque 1-2, or 1-2-1 rather. And you'll notice right here, Haney, what does he like to do? Most of the time, he just likes to lean back. Or he likes to go, see that? Straight back in the line. And then clinch. That's his second line of defense. So he will just go back in a straight line and then clinch if his opponent gets past his wheelhouse. Against Lomachenko, that could be trouble. Because look at how quickly Lomachenko, see that? And that's a big old swivel hook right there at the end there. That hurt. And then he sticks to him like glue. That's the worst part about it. See that?
That's badass, BD. That's fucking cool, man.
He still has his... Right, he still has his... Right, Gonzalo, he still has his speed, as you can see here, against a guy like... We saw Ortiz is quick in most of his fights. The fact that Lomachenko's still getting to him, that's why I'm saying I think people are underestimating Ortiz here. And by proxy, they're underestimating Lomachenko. Now, here you see Loma took a bit of a right hand here. Hold on, here. He sort of blocked it, but he took it, but he kept coming forward, putting the pressure. Now, Pete, this is to your point. Let's say you're saying that this is what's going to happen most of the time, that even if Haney lands a right hand, Loma is not going to be bothered by it, and he's going to keep doing this, sticking to him like glue.
I mean, Ortiz is, listen, I got Ortiz beating Haney. I just think this style is bad for Haney, horrible for Haney. And he's got some power. I'm just saying, this fight's a little different because, again, Ortiz has experience with Lomachenko. So knowing that it's a little bit of a chess match, Lomachenko's not going to be able to use his typical bag of tricks because Ortiz is going to expect him. And Ortiz is not going to be able to fight like himself totally because Loma knows him too. You see what I'm saying? So, Loma might come in maybe with less head movement or throw less feints because he understands that Ortiz has seen this before. But when it's your first day on the job, Haney's going to get overwhelmed. It's the second time ever fight. This is a fight here where Ortiz had a damn good showing against a 35-year-old Lomachenko who he's got, I don't know, I'm going to say what, 80 rounds of fighting with. So you're looking at the final 12 rounds of an 80-round session. And I'm sure Ortiz is learning something when he's fighting Lomachenko. It's obvious by his pivots. So therefore, this fight's a little tricky, to use as an example. And once again, Haney can watch this all he wants. Not going to do any of this shit.
Listen, it's because what I'm hearing from the people picking Haney is that he's going to be able to stifle all this with his jab and with his longer arms. And I'm thinking, well, I could see that happening. Again, I never see, this is why sometimes I have a hard time getting or making a pick, because I look at both guys' strengths and weaknesses and I say, okay, here's how fighter A can maximize his strengths and pull off the win. Here's how the other guy can do it. But Lomachenko, as you can see here, though, I think this is the main thing that people are overlooking, the fact that he still is very quick. And look at, once he got Ortiz tired, look at that. He landed all those shots in that combination. Well, actually, 3 out of 4, let's count. Goes in, lands that left, lands that right, miss with the left. All right, yes, 3 out of 4 shots. I mean, Haney was getting hit with one shot by Diaz and then clinching for dear life, or against Kambosos too. He's like, he's gonna have to have to be at 120% to keep up with this operational tempo. I just can't say it enough.
He ain't got that gear.
Gonzalo, what do you think?
I mean, he kept Linares thinking for like 9 rounds, but like I said, that's hard to say because Linares is older, and he just didn't want to let his hands go. But yeah, 1s and 2s is not going to cut it. And since Loma likes to turn, like I said, Haney can have good control of distance moving back and forth. But when Loma turns and Haney throws hooks, I think Haney tends to lose his balance a little bit, kind of like when you drive a car and you steer out of the lane and you gotta like overcorrect to get back into the lane. Mm-hmm. If you don't got good balance, you're just gonna lose your balance. And I think Loma's just better at changing the angles. He hits pretty hard, so I mean, is Haney going to resort to clinching, and is the referee going to do something about that? That's just a big question that I'm kind of like still stuck on how that's going to benefit Haney.
A very good point. Very good point. I like the Teddy Atlas-esque analogy there about the car swerving. PG in the chat says, we need Shadowban to give us the real inside scoop. Yeah, maybe tomorrow he'll call in. Right now we're just focusing on this. Here's another thing that I want to... Okay, so yeah, listen. These 1-2-1s from Lomachenko, especially once he got his opponent tired. And again, the way he tires you is because he just sticks to his opponents like glue. He pressures them with footwork. And then these guys, they have him in his wheelhouse. They shoot their shots. He blocks most of them. And then, boom, he catches them with these quick 1-2-1s. And they're hard 1-2-1s, by the way. But the other thing I want to see from Lomachenko, though, if he wants to win this fight, is he has to diversify the left. It can't just be 1-2-1, 1-2-1. because okay, here you're seeing Diaz getting to Haney with a bunch of left hands. But like I said, this was because Haney was getting comfortable to the pace of the guy just coming forward with his hands up. Lomachenko is going to be a different look because he's going to be in and out, but maybe that's going to make Haney be more aware because he's going to be seeing all that movement. He's going to be a little bit more jittery himself. Nevertheless, he did get hit with way too many left hands here for a guy whose main attribute is defense. And see that he got hit with a left hook. And then look at this. He thought the left was coming at that same angle in an arc, and instead it came straight, and it sort of pushed him back. It wasn't that super clean shot, or the most clean shot, but
you see how he's got his elbow pinned down to his belt when he gets hit in the head like that?
Yeah.
He can't, I don't know, just the dimensions of his body, his arm compared to his torso, the length of his torso from his belt line to his shoulder. He cannot protect both. He has the inability to do it. It's just, I don't know what to say. Maybe just not enough fights with southpaws. I don't know. It's like when Charlo fought Korobov. Charlo was twice the athlete, twice the fucking physicality, twice the power, but Korobov just couldn't miss with that left hand. Some guys just can't wrap their heads around fighting a southpaw and having that different angle. So in this fight here against Diaz, which is the only southpaw fight you can find from Haney, since it's his only fight against a southpaw. I'll go ahead and say it. The thing about it is, Diaz was just looping that shot around. The straight shots, yeah, but it's those looping shots. Watch this fight again. He lands one of these in the second or third round, and it really doubles over Haney. And from then on out, Haney had no answer for it. He had no defense for it.
Well, Pete, there's two. Yeah, I think I already played that one. I can rewind if you want to later, but there's also two more instances where, and again, this was because they were both tired at the end. So there's that to consider too. But here he got stunned there. This is a 12th round. I don't know if you guys are delayed a little bit, but it's 2 minutes 11 of the 12th. Boom. Another left hook. And he got a little stunned there. And then this one here. This is partially because they're tired too, but because he's tired. It's the last round. They've given it their all, or most of their all.
He's hurt.
Yeah, but he got stunned.
He hurt him in the 11th round. He hurt him bad in the 11th round with that shot. Acted like he was going to loop it to his body. And he's got to make a decision. Do I cover my body with my elbow and drag my arm down a little bit, but I'm going to expose my head when I do it? And when he did that, boom. That's when he caught him. That's when he caught him in the jaw right there.
And that's crazy because Jojo Diaz was never really a puncher at 126. I believe he fought in 130. He was like an amateur Olympic fighter, and he used to throw more combinations. And when he went up to 35, based on the fact that he got a good chin, decided to change his style and be more like a Canelo Alvarez. But he doesn't have that type of power.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And by the way, Thunder Road in the chat says Haney won this fight unanimous decision, and y'all acting like he took an L. I gave him credit earlier for the work he did, but I think the same goes with Lomachenko. He won that Ortiz fight via unanimous decision, and people are making it as if he's lost. Done. And by the way, we're not saying that he's done in this fight. That's your perception of, because the fighter you like is being criticized. You think we're just shitting on him. I'm showing you the clips here. The clips don't lie, and I'm just saying this is something that Lomachenko could work off. That's all we're saying. We're not saying, don't take it too personal. Work off, yeah. Now
he
the other
went
thing
UD
is,
in this fight and looked like shit.
Yeah,
because he's having trouble dealing with a southpaw. His feet were stuck in the mud. They were too wide. I don't know what all his footwork's about. Look how wide his feet are. You can't do anything when your feet are that wide.
Hey, by the way, Raphael in the chat. Real quick, Raphael in the chat says, isn't this supposed to be about Devin's keys to victory? No, we already moved on. We're at Lomas now. We started with Haney's keys to victory, and now we're in the second portion where we're looking at Lomas' keys to victories. I hope I was clear about that. If not, I have to repeat it here. But yeah, go ahead, Pete. You were saying that the footwork from Haney, the legs.
Yeah, to that guy. Yeah, this foot. I don't know if you can see how wide his feet are, but like he really never gathers them up. I mean, when your feet are that wide, you're very stable front to back, but you're not very stable. You're not very stable. I don't say front to back. I guess I should say you're very stable like you're on a, it's like he's on a surfboard or a skateboard or a fucking whatever, snowboard. You don't keep your feet that wide. It's very stable. How do I say it?
No, you said it right the
on the
first
axis
time.
of your hips. The axis that your hips are on, it's very stable. To the sides, but to front and back, no. And if you never move them, and listen to the Haney fan, look, I'm just telling you something that you should already know. This is the only southpaw fight that your guys ever fought. So I don't know about this jab or whatever you're talking about, but there's an 8. I put the graphic in the chat, BDA. I put the graphic for the tail of the tape for this fight. You're looking at it. He's fighting a guy here who's got a 64-inch fucking reach, and Haney's got a 72. So some quick math. It's an 8-inch reach advantage that he's got on this guy, and he's walking in with impunity. So
yeah, I'm looking at. I hold on. I'm trying to figure out how I can post it. I was laughing because I just checked the Discord and you posted a picture. This is the guy that Rolly beat last week, and it's the picture of Danny Trejo when he gets beat to death in Heat. And he's whispering.
Look at it.
What's he whispering again?
Yeah.
Waingro. Yeah, Waingro. Don't leave me like this, Holmes. And whenever he says, "Don't leave me like this, Holmes," don't leave me.
Killed her, man.
That's a disturbing scene.
Look at his skin tone. Look at his skin tone. That's fucking what's his name.
I'm not gonna show that. Man. I'm not gonna show that. But
hey, didn't Danny Trejo used to box VD? Maybe he can face Rolly Romero.
Oh, come on, man. Hey, you never know, Gonzalo. That knowing how the PBC operates, they might try to get him out of retirement. He's only 70 years old. Why not? Fuck, I can't find how to put it on the screen. I'm a little out of touch here. But anyway, suffice to say that against Jojo Diaz, Haney had a 72-inch reach, and Diaz had a 64-inch reach. So that's 8 inches of reach advantage for. That's a lot, man. I mean, I know your girlfriends out there tell you that it's not a lot, but let me tell you something. 8 inches. I'm packing down there too, man. Now listen.
Take it from me. That's plenty.
Let's get serious for a moment. We're almost at the end here. Okay. You guys were talking about the foot positioning here from Haney. He's got a good footwork because, again, how can I say this? You don't have to be moving around the ring to have good footwork. As long as you're on balance, on equilibrium, and you're not getting your ass dropped every other 2 fights, you got good footwork. But if I may repeat what Pete and Gonzalo are saying in different terms, look at Haney's feet here. See how close they are? Right now they're a little bit more closer, but see how he's just leaning forward. But notice that they are farther apart than if you compare him to Ortiz. And Jimmy made a good point because I showed him these clips behind the scenes. It's unfortunate he's not here right now. He's probably busy. But I showed him the clips of Haney fighting and then the clips of Ortiz, and he broke it down perfectly. Let me show you, for example. Let me show you Haney again. Look at Haney here, see? He's pivoting, doing fairly decent work. He's not crossing his feet. All right. Well, there he stumbled a little bit. See here against Diaz. Look at his hips. Look, for example, this is what Jimmy told me. Look at his hips when he's punching. The hips are a little bit going with the punch. You're supposed to be swiveling the hips before the punch. The punch is supposed to be following the hips. In other words, this is partially why Haney doesn't hit that hard, because he's punching to get out of the way right away. All right?
They're binding. They call it binding. In sports, they call it binding. If you guys ever played any sports or have played any football at least, you understand that your hips are supposed to be your shoulder width apart. Width apart. Because you can't swivel you cannot bring if you're swinging a baseball bat, it's the same thing. Okay? It's all hips. It's just, I'm sorry, but it's all hips. It's all legs, glutes, the whole thing. So like basically when he throws his right hand, his hip can only come up so far because his trail leg is so far back.
Yeah, look at that.
It's so far back. It can only come forward so far. So if you try to hit a baseball like that where you don't ever bring your hips past 90 degrees, well, good luck. You're gonna be doing a lot of fucking contact hitting with no power and no follow through.
Now again, this isn't the end of
that. Plus he's got a foot out the door. Very punchy throws. He's looking to get the hell out of Dodge.
This isn't the end of the world, but
you know what? Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
just real quick, Gonzalo, this isn't the end of the world, but just I want to compare and contrast. Okay, so we're seeing all this. Let me just show you real quick the Ortiz. Notice how his stance is more, see that? More of a U stance. Like one of those Soviet fighters. See that like right here. Or maybe you can't see because the ropes are blocking, but just notice that his feet and his legs are in a U position. See that? He's not dragging one foot, trying to get out of the way real quick. He's really got good equilibrium, and then you see how he rolls away from the shots. But go ahead, Gonzalo. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Shoulder width apart.
No, and I was gonna say, Pete, and Lomachenko, he's all hips and follow through. So when you're exchanging punches and you're trading, Lomachenko's gonna be like on the inside, getting the best of Haney, I think, and actually putting all that together. And Haney's just gonna be second best. Lomachenko really turns into his punches.
Yeah, that's a given, Gonzalo. Yeah, that's one of the things that one of the big factors why Haney doesn't score knockdowns or even knockouts. I mean, knockouts or even knockdowns is because he's got one foot out the door when he's punching. And the last thing I wanted to mention here about that, we can still, like I said, rewind some of these clips here if you guys want, but make him trade.
You mean by that, BDA, 1 foot out the door, so he don't want to commit because he's thinking of moving out? Like he don't want to stay in there, so he don't follow through?
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, he never sits down a punch. How can he? He's got a haul ass.
Well, that's the other thing. His hips.
About the hips. It's again, that DAZN broadcast was pretty telling because Linares was 34 years old, by the way, in that fight, and he had Haney all over the goddamn place, and he kept up with him speed wise just fine. But anyway, and a short little right hand to the chin caused all that damage. A little short punch, a little 6-inch punch, like a little Wilder knockout punch type deal. Nothing, right to the chin. But the thing about it is, like, to be honest, what I was saying about the hips is it's just really in any sport. It's just with any sport. Anytime you're trying to use your body, swing a baseball bat, throw a pitch, throw a football, lift, squat something, do cleans, power cleans, throwing a fucking right hand or throwing an overhand punch is just like throwing a pitch. And it's just like swinging a bat, throwing a hook. So it's the same exact, it's really the same. There's no difference, guys. And really, you can't do it when your hips are binding. You just can't do it. You can't do it with your feet that wide.
That's
I don't know what footwork you are talking about. B-Ball's got good footwork. That's bullshit.
Yeah, man. Now, I want to find, because I'm trying to do two things at the same time. Or maybe I can go back to the Haney clips when he's flirting to see what Pete's talking about. Because when Jimmy told me about it, I had the perfect clips for it behind the scenes. Here's what I wanted to get to. Okay, so everything flows off the jab for Lomachenko. If he wants to win this fight, he has to start quite quickly, go to the body, but also get Haney to trade, because Haney, he can fight chest to chest, but he cannot really trade. Now look at this, Lomachenko against Linares. This short, he's got his little T-Rex arms. Those are perfect on the inside. Here against Ortiz. See how Ortiz flurried? Let me see if I can. Okay, let me slow this one down. So Ortiz is trying to steal these rounds. See, there's 10 seconds left. So he says, fuck this little guy. Let me flurry. So he gets a 1, 2. The right hand breaks through the guard. The left gets behind the guard. He tries not to smother himself. He goes to the body. Very offensive. You don't really see Haney doing this. But then Lomachenko says, okay, you're going to flurry. I'm going to sit down. And then boom, catches him with the left hand. So what Ortiz did here was he threw about 5 shots. 2 of them got partially through. Whereas Lomachenko took his time, stayed behind his guard, waited for Ortiz to go downstairs, and he said, I gotcha, and got him with a hook. So that's what he has to do sometimes too. He has to make Haney open up, get him to trade. Here's another instance of that. Little right hook. This is what I was talking about. This is what Gonzalo was talking about, that anchor hook. See that? This is against Crolla. By the way, Crolla made it look easy against Ismael Barrosos about 6 years ago. Whereas Rolly Romero was struggling and should have probably was going to get beat by Barrosos. So when people go, Crolla is a bum, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's because Loma made him look like a bum. Just think about that maybe. So there you see, he's got power there. Again, he's got power here against Comey, that brutal left. I want to see Lomachenko do this. It's his last shot. Go to the body, dig into those hooks, make Haney trade. See, he's trading with a power puncher here. So if he's trading with Comey, you better hope he trades with fucking Haney. And here you see Jojo Diaz setting him up for some right hooks. There, see that? Flurries downstairs, boom, catches him with the right. Now, why is he getting caught, Haney, with that? Because he feels like, okay, I gotta get mine back. But look at that. Look at his horrible hand placement there. So that's what I'm saying from Lomachenko.
His jab is just hanging out there, and then he's trying to clinch with it. It ain't gonna happen with a southpaw. You can't clinch it with two orthodox fighters or two southpaws. It's easier to clinch. You see that? I mean, try to slow dance with a girl that you're gonna stand southpaw with her. How the hell do you get face to face? You have to be chest to chest to do that. The clinch is the same way. Wrestling is the same way. Guys behind you, forget about it. It's the angles are off.
Well, listen, we got through this film analysis. Maybe I can just leave the clips playing, and if you guys see something that you want to comment on, let me know. But so Pete, you don't want to make a prediction so far but from what I understood is you're not too impressed with Haney. Gonzalo, it's not that I'm not too impressed with him. He's had success. He knows what he's doing, but too much hand feeding, too much of a step up in class, too much of a step up in footwork. It is going to be a second southpaw fight of his career. Second time ever fighting a southpaw. And he's going to fight who I think, honestly, 35 years old aside. The age thing. Guys, look. The age comes with the experience. Experience comes with the age. Lomachenko's got so much of a deeper pedigree than Haney. It's not even comparable. And honestly, you can't time this age thing up. You know what I mean? If you told me 10 years ago, 12 years ago that Ugas was going to beat Pacquiao, I'd fucking laugh at you. And so would Pacquiao and so would Ugas. Everybody would. But if you give it enough time, it could happen. I mean, and no one's going to know it until the night of the fight. So, you look at him against, I'm just going to use Pacquiao as an example, left-hander, pressure fighter. You look at Pacquiao and you see him coming up, and it's like, obviously he took a big, huge knockout against Marquez, and that kind of changed his style a little bit, but he wasn't as aggressive. But even then, he's easily beating Ortiz how do you call it? Robert Garcia's buddy there. Anyway, he's beating these guys, no problems. Algieri, shit like this. And then he fights Broner, and it's like, dude, Broner's not giving him problems, but he's not stopping these guys anymore. And then you think he's slowing down. Then he fights Thurman, and you think Thurman's the younger, stronger, bigger, right? Sound familiar? Just like this fucking Haney kid. Huh. Bigger, stronger. He's stronger. He's younger. His footwork. Blah, 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 blah. And then he gets in there, and it's like, yeah, it was a good fight. It was a close fight. He didn't blow Thurman out of there, but Pacquiao was not slowing down enough, right? And then after that fight, a guy like Ugas gets to come in there and basically just outbox him because Pacquiao couldn't pull the trigger. So, I mean, you start trying to time this thing. They can't time it. The boxers can't time it. Neither can you. So until I see him really slow down, then Loma's, he's the best lightweight out there right now. Give a shit. Gonzalo, that he brings up a good point. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen until we see both skill sets in the ring together. And also, Lomachenko, again, I would say that Lomachenko, this reminds me a little bit of Usyk Joshua, where Usyk didn't look good against Chisora, or didn't look as dominant against Chisora as he usually does. That was different styles. Ortiz is a much more dynamic mover whose pivots were causing Lomachenko the inability to really tee off on him the way he did against, for example, a guy like Comey. What do you think, Gonzalo? What do you think about what we saw so far? Example, by the way. I don't mean to cut Gonzalo off, but I don't mean to cut off Miklo, but that's a good example right there. Usyk, when Usyk's fighting Chisora's coming after him like a maniac, like Ortiz did, like Salido did, like, really coming up rough and tumble, really coming up to rough him up, right? Chisora in that fight wasn't looking to box. He wasn't looking to jab 1-2, none of that shit. He was looking to chase after
Usyk for as long as he could, rough him up, land something, get dirty. Am I right? So yeah, it did look a little, Usyk played it smart. But hey, guys, once again, when AJ watches that film, can AJ do that? No. Can Fury do that? No. Can Wilder do? Is Wilder going to do that? No.
Maybe Fury can.
So once again, if you think the blueprint's out there and the Matrix is fucking whatever, the blueprint exposed, all this bullshit, then at least try to emulate the game plan. Do you think you're capable of that?
But no, you know what? It's interesting.
He's not capable of fighting this fight.
But Pete, that's interesting thing about this fight, because if people pull the Ortiz rank there, or even the Teofimo Lopez one, people can bring up that Jojo Diaz fight. You know what I mean? So that's why this fight is so interesting, because it's possible that one guy powers up to something that we've never seen before. But again, I reiterate the point that we've been making here. Yes, Lomachenko is smaller. Yes, he's older, but he's still quick. He's still strong. He's got a lot of experience. And I think Pete hit the nail on the head when he says that Haney has not fought that many. This is the third southpaw he's fought, and it's only the second world-class southpaw he's fought. And he's got a different style than Ortiz that we're seeing here, who is much more dynamic. See, look at that. This type of movement. Maybe Haney doesn't need that type of movement to beat Lomachenko. We shall see. But I think this fight, even I have heard
they know each other. Yeah, they know each other, BDA. I mean, this fight, you can watch all these fights. You should. The Jojo Diaz fight and this Ortiz fight, the thing about this Ortiz fight is, understand, Haney can't fight like this, number one. Number two, they have experience. It doesn't matter if Loma's better. Ortiz has experience with this guy. He's got to practice and sparring with this guy for fucking 4 camps. Believe me, that's very valuable. It's a little bit more of a chess match at that point. And if you want to watch the Lopez fight, yeah, if Loma gives away the first 7 rounds of the fight, I'm sure Haney's going to have a little easier time dealing with the angles, because Loma's not going to take any. He's going to march straight forward like a maniac. It just comes straight forward. But here's the thing. The problem is, like you said, Jojo Diaz just came straight forward. All he did was just come straight forward with a high guard. and he overcame an 8-inch reach advantage like that. Haney's fucked.
I mean, hey, listen, that's one way you go. You bring up some excellent points. That's all I'm going to say about that. Shout out to Tyronello Rap Music Only for his contribution with the super chat. He says Loma should clinch Haney's lady during the fight. Okay, I don't know how that's going to help Tyronello. I don't even know. That could get him disqualified, by the way. But shout out to Tyronello. He's got a photo of Canelo with a wig on. And real quick, shout out to Bushido Kai for his contribution with the super chat as well. He says, has Haney ever adjusted in a fight or a round to turn it around? How dynamic is Haney really? If Loma finds Haney, will Haney be able to adjust in other ways? It's a good question. I do think Haney's smart. Listen, you don't get to where he is right now by being an idiot. In the Diaz fight, I mean, he threw more combos. He started going to the body. He started stabbing Diaz to the body. So yes, he can make adjustments. But your question, I suppose, is can he do it against Lomachenko, who did show he could adjust against Teofimo Lopez. Once he figured out how he was going to fight with that hurt shoulder, he did turn it up and was getting the better out of Lopez. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I have my doubts about whether Bill Haney, I'm not too sure how good a trainer he is. So that's going to be interesting right there. So shout out to Bushido Kai.
Boss him up, Dev. Boss him up. Boss him up.
Boss him up, baby. Get that.
Boss him up.
Hey, it's like, I remember when Tyson was getting beat up by Holyfield in the first fight, and I think one of the assistant trainers told Mike Tyson, come on, Mike, hit him harder. Hit him harder. I go, you know what? That's some great advice right there. Hit him harder. I bet Tyson hadn't thought of that one. But Gazelle, I think you were going to say something.
Trinidad singer, smack him in the face, forehand and backhand. Smack Trinidad, smack.
Yeah, yeah, like Three Stooges. Yeah,
he smacked him like it was a fucking movie, like a pimp.
Yeah,
it was like him in his fucking one cheek, and then the other was backhand. It's great.
You know what? It was like in the Three Stooges. I was expecting during those live fights, I was expecting him to poke Felix Trinidad in the eyes with with the 2 fingers. It was disgusting.
Yeah, like Three Stooges.
That's right. All right, Gon, sorry about that. I was stepping all over you, Gon. What were you going to say?
No, it's cool. Pete's been making some great points. Aside from Haney utilizing, I got a little bit of feedback. Aside from Haney using the jab to establish distance and keeping his feet wide apart, when it comes to the straight punches, because that's not going to work out too well for when he throws hooks. Because, like I said, he's going to lose a little bit of balance when he throws them right or left hooks. But when it comes to spreading the feet, keeping the feet wide apart, and using the jab, he does all right. But when you show those clips when he's facing Jermaine Ortiz and he said, okay, I'm going to keep this little guy off me, he's throwing a lot of flurries, and Lomachenko decided to sit down on his shot. I think that type of timing is what's really going to do Haney in. Because aside from establishing the distance and throwing that jab, he's not going to get the respect from Loma because he really can't hit that hard. And so when it comes to Loma sitting down on his shots, he's going to time him. He's just going to be basically, you throw two, I'm going to land my one. And by me saying you throw, I'm going to land my one doesn't mean that Loma doesn't have the ability to box and can box with you. No, but he's not really going to try to box with you. Why am I going to try to box with you if I got no respect for you? I'm just basically going to take your two to land my one is basically a timing thing. Okay? Like you said, he's breathing out. He's exerting out all the energy from his body. He's kind of loosening up as he exhales away. And that's when Loma's going to throw the short shot with power because he's already going to set that up with timing. He's basically going to be waiting. All the while, you shot your load, and then I'm a throw mine.
Yeah, listen, you know what, Gonzalo? Skills are very important in boxing. But I've seen skilled fighters who had no world-class physical talent, and they could make it. Like Jesse James Leija had very good technique, very compact, good straight shots. He could fight on the inside, outside, but he didn't have world-class power or world-class speed. And when he fought big dudes like De La Hoya, or guys who had incredible speed and power like Shane Mosley or Arturo Gatti who could hit hard, he got chewed up. Skills are good, but if you want to make it to the top of boxing, there's hundreds of boxers out there competing to be the best top 10 guys in the world. To get to the top 10, to the pound for pound top 10, you got to have exceptional physical talent as well, not just technique. And sometimes you don't even have to have perfect technique. I mean, look at Josh Taylor. His defense has become subpar. I think it's actually gotten worse as he's gone on. But he's made it to the top 10 pound for pound because he's got ability, he can hit hard, he's got balls, he's willing to fight the best, and he takes them out. And that's why he's on the top. So with Haney, he's got good skills, don't get me wrong. Good jab. He's got an ability to time his opponents. He can pot shot when he wants to, once he's got to figure it out. But that lack of power... Okay, so here's my question. When's the last time he fought somebody who could match his speed? Here's my question. When's the last time he fought somebody who could match his speed and maybe even at least match his boxing skills? Kambosos wasn't that guy. Look at how he looked.
He's never fought anybody like that. He's never fought a 50-50 fight. He's never fought a 50-50 fight. Jojo Diaz again, I'm sorry, but it's that and the Linares fight because it's most recent. And the Jojo Diaz fight is the only southpaw fight that matters is Jojo Diaz. You can't find the other one because the guy's probably fucking laying sod somewhere.
Oh, come on.
So the thing about it is like he probably doesn't know who Devin Haney is. So the thing about it is like, well, fuck. Look, he had Jojo Diaz beat in the quickness, in the height, 8-inch reach advantage. He had him beat, bigger, stronger, faster, the whole fucking 9 yards, man. And he got touched up. I don't give a fuck if you win a fight. That's what we were saying before about film. Any good coach will tell you, son, you might be kicking everybody's ass out there, but if you're vulnerable, the next team's going to see it. So while you're over there jerking off over there because, it's play away and you're just jerking off and losing contain and doing whatever you want to do. Yeah, that worked out this game, but the next game, we're going to get exposed now. And they're going to be all over your ass. And then I'm going to be up your ass. So
you know what? Listen, this is speculation, guys. But I get the feeling that, because I remember a while back I did a video with Jimmy. He was breaking down or debunking the whole Loma avoided Haney thing. Because that's something we still hear to this day. Oh, Loma avoided Haney. Yeah, he avoided Haney. He avoided a 21-year-old Haney whose best win was Alfredo Santiago, to take on Teofimo Lopez, who had a belt in that division. Yeah, what a duck. But people still bring it up. And till this day, Bill Haney, the mastermind, has managed to convince a lot of people that, yeah, indeed, Lomachenko didn't want to fight him. And Devin Haney was repeating this in the Top Rank Blood and Sweat and Tears preview videos that they're doing. He's like, oh man, he made me wait. I'm thinking, okay, Jimmy feels, and I hope I'm not talking out of school here, but I think he would have said it if he would have been on today's show, that the Haneys are sort of a little apprehensive about fighting Lomachenko. And now they're actually
he's pacifying himself. He's pacifying himself.
Listen. Yeah. Haney at 21 years old had only beaten Alfredo Santiago, whereas Lopez was just about to beat Comey. He also had the Nakatani win and the Edistatal win. That was a bigger challenge than fighting Devin Haney, who had a paper belt and whose best win was Alfredo Santiago. Now we're going to see, hey, if Haney beats him, maybe he can make... But even then, even if Haney beats him this Saturday, you can't really tell me that fight would have been that much competitive. 21-year-old Haney against a 32-year-old, 31-year-old Lomachenko, that's a hard sell. So, but what I'm trying to get at here... If I was a big
Devin Haney fan...
This Saturday's a hard sell. They're on two different fucking promotions fighting on two different networks. All right? I wasn't even like bitching about that fight not happening because, dude, you're asking to like part the red fucking sea to make that fight happen. If Top Rank's going to have a fight, ESPN's going to want to show it. That's what the partnership is about. It's not going to happen. They're just going to go willy-nilly and go put it on whatever network they want. And if Haney's fighting for Matchroom, then DAZN wants to show those fights. That's the agreement. That's the whole idea. That's everything. So, yeah, that fight. And here's another shocker for you, Haney, Bill Haney.
Oh,
you fucking, you look like fucking Bonafide. Listen,
wait a minute. Come on, man.
All right. Listen, Bonafide. Let me just break it down for you, okay, dude? And again, I know he's talking to casuals. He's not talking to, and he's pacifying himself while he's saying it. But look, dude, if you have the franchise belt on and another guy has the WBC championship belt on, right? Or vice versa. If you have the championship belt and the other guy's got a franchise belt, it's because you're never going to fight. Understand that. But get that through your fucking head. The entire idea behind the belt, the franchise bullshit, is to keep these belts against, just to belt up two guys that are never going to have the opportunity to fight each other. And at the time, with Haney on DAZN, under Matchroom, and Lomachenko fighting for Top Rank, a.k.a. ESPN, it was not going to happen, so WBC belted them both up. You get it?
You're right.
Understand that.
Hey Pete, if Bill Haney Sr. looks like Bonafide, Devin Haney looks like Flat Top from the movie Colors, the guy in the red Corvette. That fucking Pac-Man changes. Because he dresses kind of 80s, like 80s style. He looks like that dude.
Yeah.
If I were a big Devin Haney fan and I was a little biased and more of a casual, because I don't really think I am. I watch a lot of boxing. Not all the time. But if I was kind of biased towards Devin Haney, it would be easy to assume, okay, yeah, he's the taller dude. He's the bigger guy. When Lomachenko tries to roughhouse or basically fight on the inside, Devin Haney's going to fucking tie him up. And that's how we're going to deal with that. Okay, scratch that. He wins the fight on the inside because the tying up is going to make him handle Lomachenko on the inside. But it's not that easy. It's not that easy. This is where Lomachenko is going to time him and catch him. And I never really thought about it too much until just recently. Lomachenko does really hit hard. And it's all has to do with the way the delivery of his punches. Generates a lot of power. So you're absolutely right about that, BD. He's a puncher.
Hey, Gonzalo, you mentioned callers. Flat Top, actually. What's your name? Clarence. That's not your name. Give me another name. Come on, give me another name. What do they call you in the street? Flat Top. I'm just referencing the movie a little bit there. That's a good movie, man. Callers.
Yeah.
Listen,
better pack your lunch.
I don't remember that line though, but it sounds like it came from that movie, man. What was I gonna say? Man, Robert Duvall's a great actor, man. I can't stress that enough. He's about to die, probably. He's in his 90s or something like that. What? But I was gonna say this. You guys are making some excellent points about that whole thing. Listen, at the end of the day, whatever happens on Saturday, that whole thing about the franchise belt, it's going to be a moot point because we're going to see a conclusion here on Saturday. And like I've said before, I've got a little bit of OCD, so this is good for me because it's going to give us some resolution, some finality to this saga. All I'm saying is, I've seen it. It seems like the odds are about 60-40%. 60 in favor of Haney, 40 in favor of Lomachenko. I think the odds are actually, if we go to the official odds, let me check them out. Last week it was 3-1, I think, which is actually pretty. But yeah, that's the thing. Hold on, let me see the odds here, and let me put them up on the screen so people in the Discord. You guys probably can't see it on the Discord, but at least people in the chat are gonna be able to see it. Fuck, where is it? Getting a little tired here. We're almost done though. The odds. Okay, so Devin Haney minus 260. So what is that? Like almost 3-1? Somebody help me out here.
Yeah, 2.6 to 1. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so yeah, so it's about that. I don't know if they're gonna narrow by the end of the by Saturday. But it's listen. I remember when we picked Usyk to beat Joshua and what's his name? Bivol to beat Canelo, and Ring Magazine did their usual expert picks. They talked to 20 people to see who they're picking, and I think very few. I think it was something about like 17-3 in those fights. And I remember thinking, oh, I think they're underrating Haney a little bit here. Excuse me, I think they're underrating the Usyk and Bivol here. I'm getting the same feeling here, and it's not just a feeling. Look, we broke down the film analysis here for both guys. We gave you the keys to victories for Haney and the keys to victories for Lomachenko. Now it's up to the two fighters to step up, power up, and show us how it's done. Real quick, shout out to real quick, Gazelle. Shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum. Shout out to him for his contribution with the super chat. He says, "The first great fight of an undisputed dream and the last great chance of a champion." Yeah, that's well said. You should work for Top Rank though. That should have been the tagline. Instead, they put something like blood in, blood out. I don't know. They went with something else, but that's a good one. It's a little too long. Maybe
it's like some chess fucking thing.
Yeah. But shout out to
Bill Haney's a fucking pawn in this game. I don't understand why this last chance for a champion is. I mean, Loma, dude, we just watched this Ortiz fight. His skills aren't. I don't know, man. You guys got to like be realistic. He's, as far as Haney, he's never fought anybody stronger, faster, nothing than him, and he's still getting touched up here. It's one film, guys. Go watch the Jojo Diaz fight. Jojo Diaz, 130 pounder, by the way. No, he ain't no 135 pounder.
26 and 30, I think. Pete. I was gonna say Pete.
Dragged him up for this.
You know
fight.
what happened last week? It was a bad situation. In Spanish, you say, "No hay mal que por bien no venga." Something bad happened, but I think we can. If something positive can come out of what happened last week, the people have noticed that last week was a robbery. This week, you can, but you can't have like real two bad things happen back to back. So I'm saying that's kind of like a good thing. Because all eyes are on the sport right now.
It can always get worse, Gonzalo. But a lot of shit can happen back to back bad. But what the difference here is that, well, the similarity is that Rolly couldn't handle a southpaw either. This fucking Danny Trejo was fucking throwing a straight left hand and he almost knocked him out with it.
He did drop him. He did drop him.
He dropped him, but I'm saying he almost knocked him out with it. I mean, shot almost, if it was more flush on the chin, it would have stopped him. The thing about it is, Tony Weeks box top. Tony Weeks with his kid and play fucking fade, his box top. I don't know what he was thinking, but by the way, I heard you guys talking about that on the show. If you want to check some film out, guys, can I give you guys one thing before we go? If you look at the replay of that fight, when they're interviewing Rolly, you guys familiar with what I'm talking about? The in-ring interview?
Sure.
And Jim Gray, the fucking the guy who looks like he's at a park somewhere, like looking for kids, the creepy Jim Gray. When he asked Rolly to check out the replay, they show two replays. They show, number one, they show the replay of the knockdown where he got knocked down. Then I guess they mistakenly or whatever showed a video, a replay of the stoppage. You guys familiar with this?
Yes.
And Rolly's going, yeah, well, I hit him. I was hitting him. He was fucked up. It was the first punch that really did it. Look over the fighter's left. Look over Rolly Romero's left shoulder. So it'd be to the left of the two fighters and to the right of the ring post. And check out Sam Watson in the crowd. Doing some kind of a hand gesture. Okay, I don't know what you want to call it, but it was in slow motion. He's in a sand-colored suit, so it stands out against the background. All I'm just trying to say is I don't recall a fan or anybody else making these kind of hand gestures prior to a stoppage. I don't know.
Yeah, Jimmy mentioned that.
He's gesturing his hands in a certain way where he's trying to get somebody's attention, and then about a second later, Weeks comes flying in belly first.
Jimmy mentioned that on Sunday. Jimmy mentioned that on Sunday, and I've yet to rewatch the fight, but I'm going to do it now that there's 3 people saying that.
Jimmy said something about him winking at him. I don't know what the hell the winking thing was about. I didn't quite understand that. I'm talking about on camera, on video. It's not him winking. You can't see him. You can't see his eyes, but you can see his silhouette. You can see his body because he's in a tan-colored suit.
Right.
Check him out.
Well, I'm going to check it out.
Look over the left shoulder of Rolly Romero.
I'm going to check it out. I think it's important to check it out because it was one of the... But yeah, that's what I wanted to get to because Gonzalo said that 2 things, it can't get any worse. Now you said, yes, it can, and obviously it can. But what I'm thinking is that this fight is going to be taking place in Vegas. Steve Kim said that they talked to the commissioner, I think, or whatever. I forget who they talked to. And they asked him, who's going to be the referee? And they said, jokingly, it ain't going to be Tony Weeks. So the boxing world knows that all eyes are going to be on this fight. There's not going to be that many eyes because I don't think it's going to do that well on pay-per-view. But it is a big event for boxing in relative boxing terms. So I think they're really going to try to watch out, not do something too egregious. If there is some sort of hijinks or some sort of malarkey going on, it's going to be at a low level. I think they're going to try to control it. Right now, there's just too much heat on Tony Weeks, his corrupt ass. And I don't think they're going to want to let it get too out of hand. That's my thing.
No. They're going to be on their P's and Q's. The only hijinks you got to worry about is Devin Haney not making weight. I don't know what happens to any of these fucking bets. I'm sprinkling money all over this fight. Loma to win by decision. Loma to win by stoppage 6 through 9. Loma by stoppage 9 through 12. The whole fucking thing.
Well,
because these odds are just they're just too wide. So the thing about it is, like, what happens if Haney just completely steps on that scale at 140 pounds? I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what happens at a betting window when necessarily the fight's completely different than you bargained for. I guess you could just hedge it. Honestly, you could just hedge the fucking thing if you just wanted to hedge yourself. But I don't know, man. I suspect Haney's gonna miss weight. Just saying.
Some people were saying that
You're
in the
not the only
chat.
person to bring that from.
Yeah, some people were saying that in the chat. It would dampen his credibility. But then again, Shakur Stevenson missed weight.
You don't give a fuck.
And yeah, these guys don't give. The A sides don't give a fuck. Yeah, the A sides don't really give a fuck. Hey, shout out, by the way, to Stagger Goods.
He's not
in the
no
chat.
A side either, and he's not stronger or faster than Loma.
But he thinks he's the A side. Right, but he thinks he's the A side. The way he's been talking lately.
He's the champ going in. From that standpoint, people think he's the A side.
Let me just read a super chat real quick.
He's the champ, but he's going to lose all of his. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just a super chat here. Shout out to Stagger Goods, who says Tony the Tampon Weeks. Oh, see, the difference is, like they said in the movie Colors that Gonzalo referenced, a tampon goes somewhere good. I don't think Tony Weeks is going anywhere good. No, I think he shouldn't be going anywhere good.
Well,
that's for sure.
Well, if his last name is Weeks, maybe he gets the job again because week in, week out, and then he would be like 2-time Weeks. 2 bad decisions in a row. Tony.
But listen, we covered every aspect of this fight. But one thing I didn't include in these clips was Lomachenko's feints. You guys have heard me. If you've listened to the show before, you know that I'm always harping on feint. So I didn't want to show that. Also, one thing I forgot to add here was maybe Haney could benefit from shooting some throwaway shots because Luke Campbell and Pedraza were trying to beat Loma at his own game. Yeah, but that's the other thing. Those guys were southpaw, so I didn't really want to include that, but he could still implement that a little bit. Be that as
The
it
fans
may,
are going to drive Haney absolutely crazy. Forget about it.
we'll see, man. We'll
I
see.
hope
Listen,
so.
yeah, Bucio's going to be doing a show tomorrow, I think. I'd have to talk to him. I think that's what he said, I think. So it's going to be the official preview show where he's going to be taking calls and he's going to be taking in predictions. Then there's going to be the Friday show, Open Lines, which is insanity. Is, everything we did here, I hope you guys enjoyed it because you're not going to see any of that on Friday. Friday, it's going to be people calling each other racists, assholes, faggots, the whole shebang, and you guys are going to love it. It's not going to be boxing necessarily, but it's going to be a...
This is like a ballroom dance. And Friday's going to be a gang rape.
yeah, listen, Friday is going to be... you're going to be in the pit at a G.G. Allen show. That's what it's going to be like. So hope you guys enjoy
the front row. You're going to be front row at fucking Superfest. That concert out there.
I tried to turn on a documentary to G.G. Allen one time. I got 30 seconds into it and had to go bathe in holy water.
Was it when he was throwing shit at people? Is that what turned you off?
I don't even want to talk about what I saw. Thank God I can't remember it all. I think there's a mental block there as part of my PTSD.
Well, there you have it, fellas. So listen, again, Bucio's going to be probably doing I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing a show tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be taking predictions. I already got about 20 predictions in here. So you guys in the panel, in the chat, make sure to really think about who you're picking. Don't go with the sexy pick all the time. Like, for example, with Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, I went with the exciting pick. It didn't pan out. I didn't expect the rehydration clause to play that much of a factor. It is what it is. So don't be afraid, fellas, that the people that try to clown you, you picked the wrong guy, these people are low class and they got very low self-esteem. So don't worry about them. Make the pick that
we know I'm not great at making good picks, but I'm picking Haney by decision only because I think he's going to clutch his way to a win. I've said that earlier in the show. I'm rooting for Loma, and I can't wait to be wrong, but I just don't think. I think based off of his age, his inactivity, 400 amateur fights, and Haney being,
well, listen. What I was saying here, Chief,
at 135. I'm picking.
But what
him,
I was saying is, look at the evidence that we presented, and then pull the trigger. But don't get too caught up in what people think, because then that could get you in trouble. That's all I was saying.
Hey, Chief. The Toby Keith song, I ain't as good as I once was, but I am as good once as I ever was.
I hope that's still the case, my friend.
We shall see. Shall see.
By the way, Gonzalo, I joined you.
That's what they say about me,
Yeah, I know.
Think white and wise up.
Pete always tries to make it racial to try to, like Buccio says.
Drink a Coke and be less white. Gotcha.
Like Buccio says, racism begets racism. So hey, some people did it to themselves, man. That it is what it is. But listen, fellas, we'll be back tomorrow with a show. So don't spend all your bullets. We still got a long way to go till Saturday. Shout out to Bushido Kai before we go. Hey, shout out to everybody. Don't leave the super chat. You guys are the best. Juggernaut. No, excuse me, not Juggernaut. Juggernaut donated. Toons donated. Who else donated? Bushido Kai, Tyronello, High and Low Sports Zentrum, Bushido Kai, Tino Melendez, Toon, Mr. Poe. That's Michael Poe. Shout out to you guys. You really keep us going. Really appreciate it. And shout out to Bushido Kai for his recent contribution. And he says, hold on, let me put it up here in the chat. He says, Loma's ring rust is no more maybe a year ago. So he says the rust is... hold on, real quick, because I haven't... Loma's, but hold on. Loma's ring rust, he says, is no more maybe a year ago, but not now. Loma is coming in top shape and ready. All right, there you go. Bushido Kai has more confidence there in Lomachenko's conditioning this time around than the Ortiz fight. Go ahead, Gonzalo. Yes.
I had a little bit of feedback. Sorry. Tino Melendez, he hangs out with Carlito Brigante.
That's right. Yeah, that's what he sounds like he hangs out with Carlito Brigante. The guy's a legend. But then the problem is if you don't know him too well, he'll shit on you. Like, if you tell him, listen, maybe I didn't make myself, maybe you don't remember my name. He's like, maybe I don't give a fuck who you are, he says. Maybe I don't care, he says. I don't have to. Oh, fuck.
I think Haney's a chain snatching. Jive ass turkey.
Mighty con motherfucker, he says. Yeah. Maricon motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What did he say?
Yeah, jive ass.
Maricon motherfucker. He's
Maricon
a
motherfucker. Yeah.
Chain snatching, jive ass, maricon motherfucker.
Oh man. All right.
Remember,
Well,
when,
listen,
remember when he
fellas.
threw Benny down the stairs and then his little fucking Carlito's sidekick was like, he stuck his tongue out. Hey, Benny, ¿qué pasó?
Oh man, that's a good movie, man. I might just watch it after we're done here with this. With a nice little meal. But listen, fellas, shout out to you guys.
The scene where he throws him down the stairs and he just fucking goes tumbling down. And I can't remember that. The guy's name was in Boogie Nights. That Spanish guy, he goes, sticks his tongue out. Fat little.
Yeah, what's his name in real life? In real,
I can't remember.
He's been in a whole bunch of movies. He was in Oz too. He was in Oz. He used to play.
He was in a lot of fucking shit. Yeah. He goes like, like goes fast stepping down the stairs. Hey, Benny, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, man?
Hey, Pete, how's your Spanish, by the way? Because I know you're down there in Florida, large Cuban population. Can you get by with your Spanish or?
Más o menos. Yeah.
Más o menos. All right. I got you. All right. Well, listen, fellas. Shout out to you guys.
By Hialeah, Florida, where they don't speak English at all. It's like you go there, you gotta order in Spanish or something. That's what they say.
Is that right?
Oye, mami, vámonos a los negocios, huh? Come on.
That's how he.
You go there and they don't speak English.
Okay, you ready? There's two guys out back looking for you. Uno grande and uno pequeño. So, but we got a lot of fucking work to do. So hurry up. Okay?
That's now he's calling Scarface, man. What the fuck? All right. Well, listen.
When you got Luis Ortiz playing the drums right outside, though.
Nah, come on.
Collecting coins in a McDonald's cup.
Hey, Omar, ¿qué tal, man? ¿Qué tal? Hey.
One of the things that made me laugh too was when Pete was referencing Taxi Driver, the guy with the drums. And now what's he saying? What was he saying? And now Bernie Cooper, syncopation or something like that. He's like using some musical terms. Like, out of all the quotes that you're gonna get out of Taxi Driver, why would you pick that one?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Somebody's hair looked like that. Somebody's hair looked like that with all the fucking pomade in it. Whoever that guy was out there banging on the drums. Oh my god!
Hey, he was really going at it, by the way. He was really giving.
Oh,
his
dude,
all.
he was slamming on the drums. On that bucket. Oh yeah.
Hey, by the way, real quick before we go, in Carlito's Way, the best character really is Sean Penn. What's his name again? His character, Kleinfeld, yeah. The smirk he has all the time. Remember when Al Pacino tells him, "You did screw him out of that $1 million, didn't you?" And the guy just smirks and he goes like, like a little kid, like you caught him red-handed. It's like you just killed 3 people and stole $1 million from the main guy.
Remember when he's at his lake house? And the two people everybody's doing coke and they're fucking down there by the pool deck. Hey, you want to stop fucking in front of everybody? Remember?
I've been there a couple of times. I've had to do that a couple of times at my parties. And listen,
Absolutely.
it's one thing when you're doing coke. It's another when it's your fucking christening, and then people are doing that. I mean, that's going a little too far. But shout out to by the way, before we go, shout out to Vladdy V for his contribution super chat, a big super chat. Shout out to Vladdy V. He says, "Great show, BDA." Well, listen, thank you, man. Thank you. I want to thank the panelists too. It's not fun without them. I'll tell you that much. So shout out to Gonzalo, the Guns, Chief, Uncle Pete, that's Pete, and you guys out there in the chat. Guys like Vladdy V, everyone else who don't even super chat too. Like I said, Bushido Kai, Stargirl Lee Goods, High and Low Sports, Zentrum, Bushido Kai, Tyronello Rap, Juggernaut, Never Sobers, Tino Melendez, Toon, Michael Poe, and everybody else that hit the like and everyone else that subscribed. You guys, the loyal BDA listeners, shout out to you as well. I'm talking about Mad Dog H, Juggernaut, HJ, Vince Vegas, Amok PvP, Wise Guy, Mad Dog H, the Funktopus, all of you guys. Listen, we gotta go. We've been on here for 3 hours, but you guys know who you are. Shout out to you, fellas. We'll be back tomorrow, so don't despair. We will be back tomorrow. Take it easy, fellas. Thanks for watching.
I'm sorry.
And get your picks ready. I don't want to have a bunch of people prevaricating and doubting themselves and stalling. I want some picks by tomorrow, or at the very least at the latest by Friday. All right, fellas? Take it easy.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Disappointed in everyone.